And
You get them mixed up, it's understandable.
Maybe getting a mid lane push into here, but they just need to consolidate what they have so far and try and get some farm onto this Twitch. If this game is going to swing back in their favor, they need Twitch to get massive.
Yeah, Mega Inferno Bomb is going to come through to try and clear out this wave, but I think this turret is going to go down. You can see the amount of siege, the amount of damage potential coming out of NV when they do get a tower to themselves is huge.
Yeah, so NV, of course, with those 4 damage threats are always going to be relevant in the game.
Yeah.
But they just need to bide their time a little bit more. Now that their base is breached, BMA taking so much damage from this Nidalee, throwing spears everywhere and just connecting over and over again.
Yeah, this reminds me of Kane when he was playing that Nidalee earlier on, just hitting every single spear. Swiffer is equally as fantastic on this champion. Oh, heavens! That was a blind spear coming from over the wall as well. So you have to hand it to Heavens.
Heavens has played this matchup particularly well. Although he's 1-3-1, that's more that the game collapsed around him a little bit.
Yeah.
And now he's trying to get his team through. His wind walls have been absolutely clutch. And you can see just the land experience that comes through on his side.
Yeah.
He's not scared of these events whatsoever.
And he's certainly not scared of Swiffer either. They've been playing against each other forever and ever. Of course, Heavens originally on Team Immunity as well. And over to Gamescom last year, in fact. So fighting for a spot to go back again here in the first matchup here at Supernova Perth. So we'll see what they manage to do with this. Inhibitor is exposed. And I am just trying to break down the door. Oh my goodness, First Mate taking half his health in damage from that spear. And everything is just starting to get so tense. Oh, it's actually Heavens going in with the final breath. There's the Winter's Bite as well coming through from Mattress, and the knockups coming through. I don't know whether it's enough damage on the side of MB, but it's going to be Swiper going down. Mega Inferno Bomb's there as well. Heavens taking a lot of damage. They've only lost the tank on the side of IM, and they've now got the positioning back. That team fight looked like it was going to be so much bigger than it was.
3 or 4 man tornado came through, and Heavens just went so aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Action continuing. All right, so it looks like Immunity has decided it's not a good time to fight, although Swiffer seemed to miss that message a little bit.
Yeah, he certainly didn't get the memo. He doesn't have very much mana here as well. The Athenes on Holy Grail is going to help, but Winter's Bite does land here from Mattress, and Envy doing a great job holding on to their inhibitor.
Yeah, so Immunity will rotate to this Dragon. I don't think there's much MV can do to stop them, but just flexing their muscles a little bit, that's got to be great for their confidence. Winning a team fight like that in their base when they are this far behind, it just shows that their dynamic composition and the amount of damage that can come out, and that ult that came through from Intrepid tanked so much damage, and the initial upfront burst was just completely irrelevant from Immunity, as Radiant is trying to stalk Heavens a little bit, chase him out of that mid lane. He is so strong. Bloodthirster and Triforce already finished at 25 minutes.
Yeah, and there's an interesting build coming through from Heavens here as well. He's opting to go for that Infinity Edge after the Static Shiv, and we've been seeing a lot of Yasuo's actually opt to go for that Blade of the Ruined King a little bit earlier on, give a little bit more sustain, and a little bit, of course, with that active ability, just letting him get out of situations and get in as well.
Yeah, so the beauty about Blade of the Ruined King on Yasuo is after you use your ult and all that armor penetration comes through, he uses it and gets so much health back.
Yeah.
With his full shield as well, it just makes him a fantastic duelist. However, with the intervention that can come through, as BMA's caught.
He's caught by the Cocoon here as well. Swiper is coming around, doesn't actually decide to stun him up. They'll follow up from Immunity. Not quite there. They said, no, we'll just let him go for this one, but that was a warning.
Yeah, Spooks looking to continue the pressure. Mattress getting chunked.
Yeah, there's the double skill shots coming through there as well. Mattress gets caught up. The intervention comes through as well. It's actually going to be Heavens coming through from the side. He's coming from the back behind this one. They've actually caught Swiper and Spooks a little bit here. Everyone's sort of milling about. They haven't quite decided that they want to fight yet. But Swiffer might be caught here. So much damage coming through from Heavens now that he's got that Infinity Edge. Winter's Bite is going to miss here from Mattress, and they're the answering spears. Unbreakable comes down. Mattress doesn't want to take a spear to the face for too much damage.
Okay, so we called the Static Shiv into the Blade of the Ruined King build, the Duelist build.
Yep.
He's completely proving us wrong. He wants to fight now with that 100% crit with the passive that
pretty
comes
good.
through.
Yeah.
Doing so much damage, forcing a couple of summoners out, and able to 1v1 the carry of Immunity. Fantastic effort, as we see another red buff stolen away on the side of IM. So whilst MV is starting to show signs of life, you can see that Immunity have complete control of the jungle outside of the base.
And you can tell that Immunity do not want a team fight as well. Now that these tornadoes are coming through, Heavens is doing so much damage. They know that Twitch with the Rat-a-tat-tat is fantastic. That was a brilliant win. Well, Heavens is showing a fantastic Yasuo play. And this is the first time I've personally seen him on this champion.
Yeah, so
in a competitive sense, yeah.
But Heavens is this farming beast that loves the mechanically intensive champions like Orianna, like the new LeBlanc. So he just fits perfectly to a Yasuo pickup. And looks like NV have started to try and get out of their base a little bit to take it, but there's going to be a fight in this mid lane, and Swift is doing so much damage.
Yeah, and it's a nice cocoon coming through here from Spooks earlier on there on Intrepid, making sure that last bit of tower damage didn't come through. Swiper actually using that aggressive dice to try and get into the NV frontline, but Winter's Bite gonna slow him down just a little bit there.
And the kite backwards potential of Braum, the way Mattress is playing it, is extremely effective against what is an immobile Renekton. After you use that slicer dice, you can't really stick to the carries. So Braum's doing a fantastic job lowering that movement speed and just keeping first mate safe. Really good play out of the support player on the side of MV.
Yeah, look to see these spears try to come through. I think and IM know that they need to land a few of these before they can win a team fight. As we do have BMA going so deep on this fight. There's a Dragon Rage kick actually knocking Radiant out of everything. But that is so much damage. The intervention has been used here on Heavens. The Ignite's ticking down. And look at the health bars of NV. They're going to lose this inhibitor, but no one's going to go down. These team fights are so knife edge. No one seems to be dying.
Yeah, no one wants to fully commit. BMA misplaying that insect just a little bit.
It's sort of the opposite insect. Like, get out of here. We don't want to see you ever again in this team fight.
Doesn't want to have to deal with Radio at the moment. Just punts him away. But they are able to pick up the first inhibitor of the game. And it looks like they're not finished. They're moving into the bottom side of the map. Very key, particularly if they want some Baron control.
Yeah, as you can see, Swiffer actually landing a nice spear there as well. BMA coming through again. That was a brilliant satchel charge, but look at NV's health bars. They are getting taken down so low. Heaven's the only one that's staying above. As I say that, the spear comes through, and he's going to be chunked to half health. First mate has used that ambush. He wants to try and get his venomous cast down for some damage, but oh, look at IM. This poke is ridiculous. Heavens comes back in and gets answered with a spear to the head, and Immunity going to be able to take this turret.
Okay, so before Swiffer threw that spear, he was 4 for 4, and they were chunking people. They're looking to get the bottom inhibitor, and NV, if they want to fight, they need to fight now.
Yeah, Mattress has decided to go in. The Winter's Bite does land. We've got Spooks having to use that repel. Gets down onto BMA. Nice flash as well. Mattress actually flashing forward, missing the cocoon here on the side of Spooks. This might be the go button, and BMA is so low though. Mega Inferno Bomb, not going to be enough damage. This, of course, is a support Ziggs. Oh, the culling coming down, and Heaven's taking so much from that. Nice Unbreakable, going to be able to block that last spear. But that's the inhibitor. That's inhibitor number 2. And Immunity just holding on to this game. They're just going to take objectives. They don't even care that NV's around.
Yeah, so the massive gold lead coming out, 13,000 gold now, 30 minutes into the game. NV look like they're stronger at the moment than I think they are. Immunity's playing this very, very well. But with that bottom inhibitor breach, that means that Baron is completely open.
Yeah.
Although they have the teleport advantage on the side of Intrepid, I think it is very, very risky to fight that far out of the base at the Baron pit, because one misstep here will give Immunity the game.
Yeah, and that Hurricane hasn't been finished up here yet either, so Intrepid still sitting on basically 1 3/4 items in comparison to the Banshee's Veil, Randuin's, and Tiamat that's been finished up here by Swiper. He's just really taken control, and you can see that global gold coming into effect so well as this Baron is going to be taken again, and I don't think that there's going to be much of an answer here from NV, even though they do have a bit of vision.
I don't know if there's going to be another steal coming out, although they have got that bottom lane pushed up nice and far. Matcher is going for it again. He's extremely confident. Teleport is coming in, so it looks like there will be a bit of a fight.
Yeah, nice statue charge there as well. Oh, there's a cocoon! Intrepid just gets taken off the map straight away. He did not. That was an interesting teleport, but I don't think he was expecting quite that much of a chunk.
Yeah, and this is where the vision control is absolutely key for Immunity. Having that brush water just meant that they knew when Intrepid was coming in and were able to pick him off straight away. Spooks with a repel that wasn't in range of Baron. He's in trouble.
That was a little bit unfortunate. The Ignite is down. Nice satchel charge just to make sure that he does get out safely. Unbreakable coming in a little bit late, so that culling doing a fair bit of damage. As you can see, Heaven's down very low. And that's a brilliant cocoon, but they're focusing on the Baron here. There's a lot of vision in that pit though, and IM don't like their chances anymore.
Yeah, and Envy's base is getting swarmed by minions at the moment, so IM look to stop the backs now and keep the fact that these minions can just keep doing more and more work in the base. Now they can go back to the Baron completely uncontested because NV is so low and their base is in danger. It's going to be a free Baron for the Immunity lineup.
Yeah, and Rosie just hanging out here does have that Hextech minefield just to make sure that he knows exactly where everyone is and can control their movements as well.
Yeah, and Radia's build is so smart. With the fact that there's not a legitimate tank on the side of NV, he's going pure damage. He's picked up another BF sword. He's going for that Infinity Edge, and he's looking to...
Oh, Heavens gets taken down. Nice spear from Swiffer, and that's going to be BMA following instantly. IM all of a sudden do so much damage. This Baron's going to go down as well. And as you can see, with 2 inhibitors down, these super creeps are doing so much work. Actually, the Ratatats had been popped. Swiffer getting taken down low. Is that poison going to be enough? But no, he's got the heals, and that's a quarter of his health back as well.
Yeah, so Swiffer on this Nidalee doing so much work. Fantastic burst damage coming out of the lineup on IM, and he's just, these spears are freakishly good, as Mattress is caught also.
Yeah, he's a little bit caught there as well. There's a nice piercing light coming down, and it's going to be just going down. Mattress just stood no chance there. No one to stand behind, unfortunately. And that's going to be these inhibitors getting killed again. Of course, that bottom inhibitor is going to be respawning fairly shortly, but I think this is definitely going to be the game here from Immunity, and they've played this team comp exceptionally well.
Yeah, so they've just strangled them out. BMA getting, oh, whoa,
obliterated. He was there for a second, I swear. Radiant now doing a lot of damage. Intrepid forced to use that intervention. Swiper now taking up everything. Pops the dominance just for a little bit of fun, but that's going to be Envy hugging their fountain as their Nexus does go down. So Team Immunity taking game 1 here against Envy, and in commanding fashion as well.
They're just so fun to watch play. Their map control and vision control is second to none at the moment. As we go back to the, so just the amount of pressure that they exert over the map, they're so hard to play when they're in front. Envy's going to have to reassess their early game from that, I think.
Yeah, it's just really, really terrifying. And you just saw it was like they were just back to work. You know, we're going to be moving around here. We're going to take this objective, this objective, this objective. And they did it with such precision as well. They didn't waste any time.
They're just such a deliberate team. You see, they take the bottom turret, they rotate to Dragon, they take the mid turret, they rotate top lane. They go everywhere as a small group. They can't get caught. And their map control and their wards and the pressure that they exert just means that they are so hard to catch and get picks on that once they get a lead, it's very hard to recover from that.
Yeah, it's just terrifying going up against Team Immunity. But of course, Envy, they're a seasoned team as well. I mean, they always seem to be the ones up against Immunity, as we do have a last replay.
Yeah, so we jump into a replay. This is one of the first Dragon fights where Envy were like, okay, we can't really contest this. BMA's on the wrong side. He's looking for a cheeky snail. So they go for a mid lane push. And Immunity are completely aware of it. So what they do is they go for the flank straight away, and they catch BMA out. And he takes so much damage straight up. And then from here, Swiper is massive. He's just able to sit in front of the whole of the MV team and soak up so much damage. He dives in here on first mate and Intrepid and just look at the whole team. They have to turn around, collapse on Swiper, and from there, Immunity is just able to keep doing more and more damage. They pick up 3 kills here, and it turns into a mid lane push. Swiper just with the smart play, recognizing that they don't want to be hitting that tanky Renekton in the mid game, so getting in their faces, getting up there, fantastic team fight from Immunity.
Yeah, really, really well played. And of course, Swiper being able to zone out the entire backline there of NV, you know that something's definitely going wrong if that is possible. And we'll see whether Swiper does get that Renekton again or whether that's going to be picked away. Of course, NV do have first pick ability, and we'll see what the pick priorities are, because there were so many threats coming through from Immunity, and having that Lucian and that Nidalee, I don't think we're going to see that again.
Yeah, you can't let Lucian and Nidalee through. If someone picks up Lucian, you have to take the Nidalee away, because Nidalee's only weakness is she doesn't add mid-game wave clear.
Yeah.
And Lucian just does that in spades as an AD carry. One of the only AD carries that do it, potentially Caitlyn, but not as well. That culling is such a versatile spell that if you have a Nidalee pick, you need to get the Lucian off the board.
Yeah, so we are going to have Game 2 coming up very, very soon, everyone, here at Perth Supernova. Do not go anywhere. Nailed it.
I'm here with Frank, who is, of course, Team Immunity's manager. Frank, can you tell us a little bit about the picks and bans phase that you just had, that Zig support? What was going on there?
So we feel that the Siege meta in this game right now is quite strong. And Rosie, of course, is quite used to playing some of the unconventional supports. Like, we can't really force him to play something like Thresh. We get a bit mad. So we've been running the Zig support in some of our scrims because it's got quite strong harass capabilities because of its passive. It's got decent wave clear and good siege. So it's definitely something that we've been experimenting with and not something that we just pulled out of the blue.
Okay, and you guys were quite ahead until that Baron steal. What was going through your mind when that happened?
It was like a bit of a case of deja vu with Spooks' smiting skills, especially on something like Elise, where you have the execute. But I think BMA played that quite well to get that steal, and it did shift the momentum a little bit, allowed NV to a bit of a reprieve and let them turtle. Probably stopped us from closing the game earlier than we should have, but at the end of the day, we just had such an insurmountable lead that we ended up winning anyway.
All right, now a little bit about your job as manager. Can you tell us what your duties are?
So I just kind of do day-to-day activities, organise scrims, make sure we all on time for prac, doing a bit of helping them with a lot of their real-life issues, as well as doing some of the coaching and analyst work, a lot of research for the other teams, as well as our own team comps and our own strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, and how did you actually get the job as manager for Team Immunity?
So I actually used to manage Team NV, who we're playing now, back in the day when they first started, and then we were scouted by Team Immunity. I was friends with some of the players at the time, and they kind of wanted to change in management, so that's how I jumped ship.
Okay, and what's your record like against Team NV? How do you go in scrims and things like that?
We actually haven't scrimmed them for quite a while since we qualified for the round of 4. I think a few weeks ago, so they were reluctant to scrim. But before then, we'd play them a lot, usually only a couple of games before it gets called, but we'd always done quite well against them, so we were quite confident going into this.
Okay, and who are you most concerned about today?
Definitely most concerned about Avantgarde Ascension. They've given us the most trouble recently, especially their mid laner, Aaron Bland. He's quite a strong player, he's got a very diverse champ pool, and he's quite scary.
All right, thank you. Good luck in the next game, and we'll be back really shortly.
I think 3, 4 maybe, when I used to play like maths games on the computer, and then from there that turned into like Age of Empires and Age of Empires 2, which I played extensively with my dad. It was just really fun, yeah, and that's kind of where it took off. I remember when we started playing, he definitely was a lot better than me. He would tell me what to do, and then I think after about a month or 2, I had completely surpassed him, and he was just like, I don't know what you're doing. Just watched it. See, he stopped playing before I became too good to beat him, and then he didn't tell me until much later that he was worried of losing to me at that time. And that made me feel really, really funny because the entire time I was playing, I was like, I just want to beat you, I just want to beat you. But yeah, both my mum and dad were very much supportive of me having an education, more so than video games. I'm sure that most people are familiar with that. And then once this actually started picking up, that's when they became rather supportive of it. My mum and dad were definitely proud that I was going overseas to represent Australia. You know, they were also kind of in awe that like something that they didn't really emphasize had kind of like become this huge thing where I was able to travel internationally, and that was good for all of us.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernova Perth. And we have game 2 now between IM and NV. And Team Immunity just took so much control of that first game.
Yeah, and I think they had it from the pick and bans phase.
Oh, yeah.
With the Lucian getting through and the Nidalee getting through, they just out-comped NV and played their composition really, really well.
I think NV had a little bit of a plan going in. They had the Unbreakable on Braum. They, of course, had that Wind Wall as well to try and stop the siege, but it was just not enough.
Yeah, the problem is those two abilities have quite high cooldowns, and Nidalee Spears don't. Late game, as soon as they start coming through, as soon as one hits, it just turns a team fight straight away. Look for Nidalee to get off the map at the moment.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how well Swiffer was playing that Nidalee in the mid lane as well. A lot of people pick up this Yasuo as a counter to that Nidalee in the laning phase as well, and we saw Swiffer just have no trouble there.
Yeah, no trouble whatsoever. That does bring us to our next key matchup. Swiffer versus Heavens in this middle lane. Couldn't be more at stake here for Heavens to lift his team and put him on his back, particularly with the troubles in the bottom lane.
Not to mention the fact that Heavens did originally play for Team Immunity, was of course playing for Team Immunity this time last year as well. So wanting to really get one back on his old team.
Yeah, definitely. And if there is a player that can do it, it's Heavens. He has so much experience, a diverse champion pool. Like, we didn't know he played Yasuo that well, and then he just pulls it out at a LAN first time, does fantastic. So look for him to go back to a comfort pick. I'm looking for an Orianna pickup from Heavens, and I'm looking for a big team fight comp to come out of NV to look to brawl and Immunity and pick up a game.
Yeah, I'm looking for an Orianna pickup from either Heavens or Swiffer, because both of these players play that champion incredibly well. Of course, the Syndra's there as well. That was available. There are a lot of champions that both of these guys play a lot of. And one thing I just really, really want to mention is the fact that Swiper didn't play Shyvana. And that has been the only champion that he's played, apart from Tryndamere, the entire round of 8 for winter and autumn combined. Yeah. This guy loves the Dragon Lady.
Yeah, and both top laners actually really like Shyvana. Potentially, it was because they knew that with Jax off the map, they could pick up Renekton and go super aggressive on a top laner. Particularly with not having to take teleport as well. They took Ignite into the lane matchup, and it allowed for so much more early game pressure. You saw the double kill that came out in the favor of Spooks. 2 for nothing in that top lane, so he played that matchup extremely well. Yeah,
and I find it strange as well, because Intrepid really loves that Shyvana at the same time. So no people actually opting to go for that dragon. We're just going to leave that one. It's absolutely fine. I think that Kayle was intended to potentially go into that middle lane as well, but they wanted to make sure that they got the Yasuo against the Nidalee. Didn't quite work out. We are, of course, into champion select here, so we'll see what does get taken away. And it's going to be Renekton off the board instantly.
Yeah, so straight away, they did not like that matchup in the top lane. They will get rid of that. Lulu gets taken out on the side of IM. They don't want to have to deal with Heavens farming up a storm on this jungle, on that mid laner, and being able to assist his team and get around the map so fast. So nice ban coming out of there.
Not to mention Lulu that's the Heavens champion. He's been playing Lulu in the mid lane forever. When that wasn't a thing, he was still playing it. Blade of the Ruined King, really dumb items. It's brilliant.
Yeah, on hit Lulu, he used to play it fantastically well. We saw that actually in the wildcard tournament last year. Evelynn being taken off the board, as we said, that inferred pressure that comes out of Evelynn is just very hard to deal with, particularly in competitive games. So get that off the map. Kassadin and LeBlanc, 2 very standard assassin bans. And with the clash of these mid laners, you have to get them off, because if they go through, they have such high impact early in the game.
Not to mention Swiffer and Heavens have had gigantic plays throughout the round of 8 on that LeBlanc. You cannot leave that one open. And Kassadin speaks for itself. I mean, we're going to talk about that until the cows come home. Kassadin's ridiculous.
The human cannonball that is Swiffer. Just
that Lucian ban is really smart.
Yeah, Lucian being taken off the field. He's such a good first pick. Kha'Zix being looked at here by BMA. I liked his Lee Sin play. So I don't know why they're necessarily going away from that. Of course, Spooks is a fantastic Lee Sin. So if you have a jungler that plays Lee Sin, you should just pick him up, in my opinion. But being Hobbit at the moment, Lucian being taken off the board means that Nidalee becomes a lot less effective. And that's why maybe that's not being looked at for a first pick. As we see, they are taking their time in this champion select.
Yeah, I don't think Kha'Zix would be necessarily the greatest idea. He suffered a lot of nerfs coming into 4.9, which is the patch that we're currently on. So a little bit of an interesting pickup here if NV do decide to lock it in, but
Although we have seen mid lane Kha'Zix a lot more since that.
Ooh, that's true. Zhao Wei
Particularly-
Zhao.
And we see the Ziggs come through. Fantastic pickup.
Yep.
Taking it away from what was a fantastic Siege comp. Very unique that came out of Immunity
Yeah.
last game. And puts Heavens on a champion where he can farm up a Storm. Very, very comfortable just killing minions.
Yeah, and also really safe as well. So it's not going to be counter pickable. I mean, he just sits back, throws bouncing bombs everywhere. And that being said, the Nidalee's still open. So we could have, I guess this is just to counter siege, make sure that if that Nidalee does come through, they've got something to protect themselves.
Yeah, able to clear the waves from other areas as well, so it stops a lot of split pushing. But Spooked, once again, hovering this Lee Sin, it would be a really smart pickup because, as I said, if you have a person on the team, other team that plays Lee Sin,
Yeah.
it becomes even more critical to pick him up just because of the amount of early game pressure that can come out.
Not to mention the fact that BMA played Lee Sin in 2/3 of his games for the round of 8, so they know that he favors his champion. When push comes to shove, he's going to sit on Lee Sin, so you may as well take it away. And Swiper's actually locked in the Cogmore as well.
Yeah, so that will be for Radiant. One of those carries that is like the catapult just sits so far back and
Yeah.
able to do so much range damage. With Elise in for the peel as well, that Dragon Range kick can get people off Cogmore. This might turn into a Protect the Radiant comp, and just so much damage can come out of that Cogmore.
Yeah, that's true. And he does, of course, have that Bio-Arcane Barrage, so he can really extend his range, makes sure that he can go toe-to-toe with anyone from a long way away. Does add a lot of extra damage as well. With that Blade of the Ruin King, you do so much percentage health, so tanks just melt.
Yeah, and the build that's popular on Cogmore at the moment, Blade of the Ruin King into the Phantom Dancer, just
Yeah.
allows you to kite back through the minions so easily. As we see that Shyvana has been locked in, that will be Intrepid in the top lane,
Yep.
and he loves his tanks.
And he certainly loves Shyvana as well. I think most of the times that we see Intrepid, he is going to be on that Shyvana, except for last game where he was on the Kayle. So we'll see how he does do. That does mean that Swiper, he's not going to be able to play Renekton or Shyvana. So this is another new champion we're going to see Swiper on. This is a big deal.
Yeah, massive deal. As we see, whoa, two
Whoa.
lightning picks come through with the Nami. Synergizes so well with Cogmore, able to give that
Yeah.
bonus movement speed and the on-hit. And then Aurelia into the Shyvana straight away. They were obviously looking for this matchup. They know Intrepid plays it.
Yep.
And they're very, very confident. I like Mattress's pickup of the Leona. We saw how
Oh, his solar flares were incredible.
we were talking to him yesterday, and he said, "I'm not afraid to engage," and that just explains how he plays the game so well on Leona.
Yep.
He just goes in, soaks so much damage for his team, and that looks like NV are just defaulting to comfort picks.
Yeah.
Potential last game of the tournament, they just want to go out with play with something that they actually know that they can play comfortably.
Yeah, exactly. And being comfortable on stage as well when you are at an event like this is really, really important. You can't let those nerves get you under control. As we do see that Elise is being hovered here. I'm not sure whether that Vayne's necessarily going to go through, but I do like the Elise pickup if that was to come
Yeah, so
be actually done.
Elise rounds out the trifecta of junglers, which are really, really strong. Elise, Eve, and of course Lee Sin. Brilliant counter ganks that can come out of BMA in this game, and the
Oh, dear.
Frozen Bird has come through.
Oh my goodness. Swiffer opting to go for the Cryo Phoenix here. They're swapping it around a lot, and honestly, it could be Nami mid. Who knows what's going on?
No, so Anivia lends herself very, very well to counter sieges, and it looks like they do have quite a good siege comp. Of course, Jinx able to tear through turrets early in the gauge, set up these like 10-minute tower pushes, and has a wave clear of the rocket, so potentially a lane swap even coming out here, but it's a dangerous pickup going with Anivia, but you have to trust that Swiffer knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Swiffer definitely knows what he's doing, and Froggen has showed us over in the EULCS that Anivia is still a good pick.
The bird is still the word.
Yeah, the bird is still the word indeed. Little Cutie Cheese showed that as well on Swain, so birds going really well so far.
So,
But, yeah.
Yeah, aggressive pickups coming out of the NV lineup. I like it. Once again, they've got this really good mid-game team fight with the Jinx, with Leona, so a more aggressive bottom lane this time around.
Yep.
And if they go 2v2, you really are scared for the MV bottom lane because you saw how dominant Radier was in that bottom lane last game.
That being said, this is Mattress on his Leona, and you know that the level 2 coming out from a Jinx Leona lane is just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
So we'll see whether they can actually get that 2v2 and whether they are going to be able to make it to level 2 first and maybe get some pressure down.
And more standard setup here. We have both top laners taking the teleport, so a lot
Yeah.
more split pushing may be going on. Of course, with the Aurelia, there's a couple of different builds you go. If you want to split push, you just go the attack speed, and you just, Triforce.
I know that's your favorite.
Into the Zephyr, into the Zerkagrees, so much attack speed, can duel anyone. Or you can go more the team fighting build where you pick up the Randuins, the Frozen Heart. So she's
Yeah.
a very versatile champion. And the reason I bring that up is because it's how the lane goes. So you don't have to commit to anything as we're into the game.
Welcome back, everyone. We are onto the Rift with Team Immunity against Team NV for Game 2. Of course, Immunity just having so much control in the first match. We'll see whether they can carry that one through or whether NV can pull one back here this game.
Yeah, this is do or die for NV, so they have to pull out all the stops. If they had anything up their sleeve, now is the time to show
Yeah,
it.
empty the sleeves, please, NV.
Yeah, this is the do or die game. As I said, good level 1s out of both teams. So maybe no action will go down. We see a couple of deep wards, and a Ruby Crystal has come out of Nami first item, just going for that health.
That is interesting. He wants that Sight Stone as soon as possible.
Yeah, so maybe scared of being a little bit squishy, and of course...
Oh my goodness, Swiffer taking half of his health already from the bouncing bombs of Heavens.
And this is what we were talking about with Ziggs. He's such a good level 1 character with his passive and the bouncing bombs, able to spam them out. He's a nightmare to play against in the mid lane, actually. And we are going to see standard lane setups, although looks like NV is moving towards the top lane.
Yeah, it seems to me like, NV have decided, they've seen the fact that we do have Team Immunity's bottom lane in the bottom lane, and they do not want to face it, as you were saying before.
Yeah, and Jinx lends herself well to fast pushes, particularly with Leona. You can light up the sunlight across all the creeps, get that pushing really, really quickly. And Aurelia does not wave clear early well at all, and Shyvana's a better jungler, so I like the lane swap here.
Yeah, so we'll see whether it does pay off, of course. Spooks is taking on his red buff on his own, didn't get a leash, so he'd be probably yelling at his team at that stage. We do have the teleport coming through from Swiper here as well, so he's going to go straight into his jungle, though. They're going to start off with these golems, and hopefully Spooks is going to make his way around after he finishes that red buff. And then they're just going to buddy system. Yeah,
so maybe a little bit of miscommunication. If you typically lane swap, you want to walk around with your jungler. You don't want to burn your teleport early, just in case something funny happens around the map. You need to be able to show up quite quickly. So good lane swap coming out of NV here, and they're going to get the slow push going, waiting for that cannon creep wave to come through, and then put a lot of pressure on these turrets.
Yeah, and who do you favor here in the late game as well, considering the fact that we're going to skip a fair bit of the laning phase for this Kog'Maw and Jinx, both of them being hyper carries. In a team fight situation, if we get to the ultra late game, who do you think is going to come out ahead?
Kog'Maw is a fantastic late game carry.
Yeah.
However, there is so much pick potential out of this Leona and BMA on Elise that you have to get scared for an immobile carry if they don't peel well for Radiant. So it really depends on who's ahead and how well they play their pick comps.
Yeah, that's true. Although they do have the Nami for the incredible sort of disengage potential. He's going to be picking up that Mikhail's most likely as well. So he's going to make sure that that Solar Flare doesn't come down from a long way away and stun up the AD carry.
And we might be seeing the support swap into the top lane to give Kog'Maw solo experience is so important, because the more levels you get into that W early, the easier it becomes. And then the heals that come out of Rosie are just going to allow Swiper to see us under this turret with no problems whatsoever, and Spooks looks like he might be going in for a little bit of a top lane gank.
Yeah, we've got a gank, and it's going to be 2v3 here in the top lane, but there's a lot of creeps on the side of NV, and those Flame Chompers doing a lot of work. Spooks has invested a lot of time. Meanwhile, Radia does, of course, have that Void Ooze. There's the flash from BMA, the counter flash instantly coming through from Rosie. There's the Aqua Prison actually in the top lane as well. First mate going down so low, the last auto attack, that's going to be first blood. Picked up by Spooks again. He's addicted to these first bloods, this guy.
And once again, this is why you don't let Spooks get Lee Sin. Just able to capitalize on follow-up games so well. Nice dancing shoes out of Heavens there in the mid lane, putting a lot of pressure on Swiffer in this early game, running extremely low on mana though. And I like the roams coming out of Rosie, able to impact the map on this Nami early game.
Oh, this bottom lane's so scary
moves.
though as well, because BMA is coming through, does have the heals actually forced out of Radiant. The Cocoon lands as well. Intrepid not going to be able to get in, but Radiant taking a lot of damage. And it's going to be really hard for him to stick around in this lane now.
Yeah, so now he has to go back, and fantastic revisit from BMA, knowing that the flash was down, also burning the summoner heal, so great work there, although it looks like he might stick around. Nami's coming down to give a little bit of support, so now the lanes are swapped back to typical 2v1. Yeah, they're playing the map extremely well once again.
It's all just sort of all over the place at this stage. Of course, Radiant now trying to get back his health, and we do have Mattress and First Mate trying to push this one out as well. But in the laning phase, Swiffer versus Heavens, it seems to me who can dodge the skill shots better is going to win that lane.
Well, Anivia's skill shots are much more impactful early game, as we see Swiffer getting jumped.
Oh, there's a Satchel Charge as well. He's actually caught down into his egg form. No one is around here as well. Heavens is going to be able to auto-attack this one, but he's so scared and doesn't actually have the burst. No mana there available.
Yeah,
As Frostbite
unfortunately
coming through
running
from
out of the
Swiffer.
mana, but burning that passive is so important, particularly with an aggressive jungler like Elise. As she's coming around to a race, she's going to run into Spooks here.
Yeah, Spook's going to be found out. We'll see whether the Cocoon lands. It does. Spook's taking a bit of damage there. But BMA just going to back off. Doesn't want to go too deep on this one. And, of course, Heavens having no mana is not going to help that situation whatsoever.
So Spooks, after investing all that time in the top lane, as he goes in on BMA.
Yeah, he's found him again. The Resonating Strike to come through. BMA also low on mana. Nice Frostbite actually forcing the flash here from Heavens. Intelligent flash.
Yeah, good flash. Maybe more important to burn the heal there because of the cooldowns are a little bit...
attack was amazing.
Are a little bit different, but we're going back to what looks to be nearly standard lanes. And
Zenith Blade landing onto Rady. He's getting so much attention in this game. The exhaust comes down. First mate gets excited, and Rosie now might be the focus, but there's the Akarthian surprise. Not much of a surprise here on the side of NV, and they're going to soak that one up
And
nicely.
this is what NV needed to do. Rady had such a good game last game and was able to impact a lot of the laning phase with some fast pushes around the map. They need to really shut him down. BMA might be caught here. Yeah,
BMA's in a lot of trouble. Bit off a lot more than he could chew. Nice. The heal coming through, but it's not going to be enough. There's the Ignite coming down. Swiffer answering that that kill just recently quite well. And they're going to get a lot of pressure down on this middle turret. Intrepid now trying to defend out this one. Swiper very, very aggressive under here.
Yeah, just able to CS underneath the turret. A little bit of dirty farming this early in the game. And that was a questionable game from BMA. Although he was in a good position, without any mana on the side of Heavens, there wasn't much follow-up that could come through. And Lee Sin, able to get in there, impacted a lot more than what Heavens was, so maybe a questionable move there. We see that in the top lane, Intrepid has fallen behind Swiper, trying to influence the map, but does have a higher level advantage, obviously able to stick in that lane a little bit better, and Swiper shared his experience with Rosie on that Nami. So a very even top lane, but you have to be scared that Aurelia is starting to build up a CS advantage.
Yeah, and of course both Aurelia and Shyvana are really, really strong in that late game, but Aurelia's always been sort of this powerhouse, does of course have that Ionian fervor, so going to be able to just not be able to be controlled in these team fights and can just dash around with that Blade Surge, so it's going to be very, very scary.
And that's the thing about Aurelia, once you get some cooldown reduction on her, her Blade Surge becomes like this anti-heal, so she just sticks to everyone. She's able to get around these team fights so well. So especially with First Mate not having an escape unless he gets excited early in a team fight with a... Wow, BMA is so far behind. It's 8 minutes in the game. This is where second buffs are up, and he's level 4. Typically, you want to be level 6 at this point.
Yeah, that is not boding well. Does ding level 5, but that is no level 6 at this stage, although the level 6 of an Elise not exactly as impactful as a lot of other champions. As we can see, Spooks only level 5 as well, so a lot of these jungles with these lane swaps have fallen a little bit prey to it. We'll see whether they can pull themselves back into this one. Of course, the blue buff going to be going over to Swiffer here on that Anivia. She's blue for a reason. You know, you need that buff.
Yeah, definitely. With the mana intensity coming out, he's not picking up the tier, he's just going straight Chalice, so this becomes even more important because it's not about max mana, it's all about the mana regen at this point. Heavens has already got his blue buff, he's going to go back, pick up a Chalice of his own. So equalizing the items here with some Sork boots coming out.
Yeah,
so
I think that might be really smart because that Frostbite, quite a slow skill shot. You can get out of that stun.
Spooks is in the bot lane.
Oh my goodness, Spooks actually coming through. I think that Resonating Strike did land. First Mate forced to use that heal, but Spooks has gone so deep. Oh, the heal on top, should Mega Death Rocket not going to come through, and Rady is going to pick up the kill. First Mate now the target. We'll see whether they do dive deep onto this one. The teleport coming down from Swiper was so smart, and as you can see, that's every member of Immunity instantly into that bottom lane.
Yeah, and this is what we said about Immunity. As soon as they get a little bit of advantage, they look to rotate their whole team around the map. Heaven's dishing out a lot of damage onto Swiffer here, but look for them to now rotate into potentially a 9-minute Dragon. No, they've decided against the poke of Zig. Radiant, though, putting out so much damage already with that red buff, chunking Mattress to nearly nothing.
Yeah, and with that range, he's so safe as well. As you can see, the Evans Flow doing a lot of work, healing him back up. Rosie just hanging out, being that Nami. My goodness, that was such a good fight from IM though, because Spooks went down so low, but they did so well to keep him into it.
And the more important thing is that, as a nice wall comes through, not able to follow it up, taking a lot of damage there as Swiffer, but Aurelia's been able to get back up into the top lane and pick up that massive wave that was crashing into the turret, so she's going to get further and further ahead, and this Aurelia, 0-0 on 2, able to impact the map already, is going to start getting very scary, I feel.
Yeah, when we were talking about the fact that Intrepid was trying to get around more and do a little bit more of that work, the fact that Swiper has come through so well in these clutch moments while still being able to farm, that's really scary. Yeah,
so now Envy sending Intrepid back to... Oh, he's teleporting top lane, so this opens up the map for Immunity even further. They can take Dragon practically whenever they want at the moment. I feel that they're much stronger in these mid-game fights, but BMA's caught Radiant.
Yeah, Radiant's in a lot of trouble. Tidal Wave does come through to try and back it off, but it's not going to be enough. Radiant falls down. It's a nice Acro Prism, but a little bit too late. Acarthian Surprise is going to try and find First Mate. He takes a lot of damage from this turret as well. BMA's diving so deep. Things are a little bit confusing here. They're stopping people, but it's not going to be the kill, and it's going to be this tower going down. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket goes slightly wide.
And there's a dive in the mid lane.
Yeah, Heaven's taking a lot of damage. Forced to flash out of there is Swiffer. It's going to be the bottom lane turret going down while Spooks is trying to get out of this one. This is not going IM's fashion, and look at NV, they're taking objectives.
Yeah, so IM are looking to be the aggressor in a lot of these situations, but NV are matching them around the map this game, taking the first objective, now rotating to a Dragon. They're going to equalize gold, maybe even get a bit ahead in this game, and First Mate is 2-1-0, equal in CS. You have to say this bottom lane is going much better for the NV side.
Yeah, it's going really well, and having a Jinx that's able to snowball throughout these team fights is so scary. As you said, that getting excited is so important, and they are focusing Radius so effectively, RNV, and taking that Dragon after that bottom outer turret as well has really got them back into the goal game. You can see now they're actually ahead by 600.
Yeah, so able to push their advantage ahead. Swiper in this top lane starting to take a little bit of control. Intrepid needs to be slightly careful here because of the amount of damage that Aurelia can put out with that Blade Surge. But you have to think with this Ziggs and the amount of counter siege that can come out of NV, if they get a little bit of an advantage, it's going to be so hard for Immunity to push them off objectives. As Spooks, very smartly recognizing that Intrepid is low, is making his way into the top lane.
Yeah, but Mattress trying to answer this one as well, is going to come up there, does have that Solar Flare available. Not going to be able to flash onto this one, but we'll see whether they can make something work. Of course, Dragon's Descent is there to make sure Intrepid is as tanky as possible. Nice Zenith Blade coming through. Spooks has been spotted out, but a little bit too much there, and they're just going to part ways.
Fantastic instincts from Mattress there. Just sensing something was up, moving the whole team around. It looks like they're trying to get control of this Ziggs blue buff, but everyone's there to fight, able to get out of there with a nice safeguard over the wall. Heaven should be able to pick this up, and these blues are so important on these two mid laners.
Yeah,
good effort from Immunity, but even better to recognize that they weren't going to win that fight and get out, maybe push down a mid lane turret.
Yeah, and Heavens has been really impressive on this this Ziggs as well. Using that Satchel Charge, and as you can see now, that Mega Inferno Bomb to make sure that they have... Oh, Solar Flare comes through. And that was in a fantastic position to make sure that tower didn't go down. If they wanted to keep sieging, they would have had to have stood in that. And even though it didn't necessarily stun anyone, it was still perfectly placed.
Yeah, fantastic zone control coming out of Mattress with that ability. Looks like NV have got the upper hand here because they've kept their players mid lane and they're looking to push this turret, and they've only sent one person bottom. They're not even going to defend it because mid lane turrets are just so much easier to take down and much more important in the long run than that bot lane turret. Fantastic move.
Nice Aqua Prison. He's going to get taken off this map instantly. Tidal Wave comes through as well. Immunity do not want to lose this turret without a fight, but Zenith Blade coming down. That's going to be the focus on the turret. Spooks is coming to the back line. Heavens is the target. He's going to go down. Spooks picks up that one. Heal being forced out of First Mate here. Nice Sonic Wave. Aqua Prison again. Rosie's incredible on this Nami.
Rosie putting his team on his back, hitting two clutch Aqua Prisms, fantastic ultimate across the whole lineup. Rotation down from Swiper was also really key. 2 towers picked up now, so maybe a little bit of overcommitment there from the NV lineup, and a fantastic wall able to block Intrepid off nearly, and they're looking to continue to push this tower siege.
Yeah, the answer was just fantastic here from Immunity. Mattress getting taken down so low. That's the Ignite as well. Exhaust is on Swiper, but he's going to be able to walk out of that one. Super Mega Deathrock doesn't quite take down Swiffer, and Spooks is so low. That's going to be the Repel, and Intrepid's there as well, but Swiffer now the focus. He has no mana. The Cocoon doesn't quite land. There's the Aqua Prison as well. He's trying to answer this one back. Swiper's here. Is he going to die? My goodness, Swiffer has that egg form as well. This guy's ridiculous. The bird is indeed the word. He's going to go down now, though. But it was great to watch him not necessarily quite fall down as soon as we necessarily thought.
Yeah, good communication coming out of Immunity, able to kite around the map until Swipers could impact that again. Maybe picking up a kill that they would not have necessarily got if he had to just resigned to his fate a little bit earlier. BMA, of course, going down, having to blow so many of those summoner spells. And the shining light here is that Heavens just picked up a shutdown. So
yeah.
The more gold we can get onto the Ziggs, the longer they're going to be able to stall these games. And it's only a 1,500 gold difference, so Envy must feel much more comfortable this game than they did the last game, particularly with their mid laner getting going now.
Yeah, and it seems to be like rubber banding a little bit more as well as far as the gold is concerned. Last game, it was Team Immunity just building on advantages, and it seemed almost a textbook performance out of them. This time, Envy are really biting back and making sure that they're getting the leads that they need at the same time.
Yeah, Radier is an absolute monster. He's managed to stay up in CS, even with all the attention that's been focused on him. 2-2-1 on first mate, but Radier going for a Trinity Force rush on Cogmore. We're seeing that a lot more at the moment. Able to stay up in CS, as I said, that's fantastic. And the pickup out of Rosie here, the Shirelias, I don't know the new name for it.
Talisman of Ascension.
Talisman of Ascension, that's a key item pickup to be able to get around these fights and give some mobility to an immobile carry. I really like that pickup.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. Do you think that he needs to build the Mikhails next, though?
Yeah, I think Mikhails is such a strong item at this point in the game that if you didn't pick it up, it would be a bit of a misplay, particularly with all of the stuns that can come out with the with Mattress, with the Cocoon that can be followed up by BMA, and even the Flame Choppers that can be laid in that CC.
Yeah.
It's just so important to be able to use that Mikhails to break the chain.
Yeah, do you think that maybe even the double cleanse is going to be important? Do you think perhaps a Mercurial Scimitar might come out as well?
Potentially much later. That's
maybe overkill?
That's a lot of investment to get out of CC, and I think Radier trusts his positioning a lot.
Yeah.
So I think with the added mobility that will come out of this Triforce eventually, as soon as that Chalice is turned into it, I think he'll be quite safe.
Yeah, and that's going to be the top outer turret going down. Of course, Immunity just going to back out of that one. Nice Acro Prison's going to stop Heavens from coming through, and that's a Mega Inferno Bomb whiffed completely. Nice stun coming through, and the Tidal Wave for the disengage. Radier is here now. He's in the front line. Heavens is being caught out. A brilliant wall coming through from Swiffer. Intrepid trying to get into the back line, but so Swiper, and he's going to find the Transcendent Blades onto First Mate. It's going to be Intrepid taken down. Everyone's going to get back for that one. First Mate so low. Super Mega Death Rocket. That's going to be Swiper falling, and BMA now caught out. The double walls, and that's a double kill coming through from Swiffer.
Swiffer is so comfortable on this bird. The walls and the amount of kiting he's able to do around, fantastic work coming out of the mid laner on the side of Immunity. Just twice now you thought he's going to die.
Yeah.
And he's just able to position himself around the map. Fantastic work. The rotation up from Radier and the collapse from Spooks and Swiper in the top lane were key in that fight.
Yeah.
The rotations to arrive at exactly the right time for Immunity ensured that they picked up that fight, and now they're going to rotate to an objective in the Dragon. They're just extending their gold lead again, and you have to think that this is where they start tightening the screws on MB once again.
Yeah, not to mention Immunity just turning at exactly the right time and at the same time. Their communication must be so crisp just to make sure that that can all happen. Heavens using that satchel charge and getting put out of his way just a little bit there. Trying to clear out these waves as best as possible, as a Ziggs loves to do. Trinity Force is actually finished up here by Radier, so bit of a power spike coming through on this Cogmore, and he's going to get scarier and scarier.
Yeah, that mobility is so important. He's going to be able to kite back with Anivia, forcing people through that ultimate, and the Ooze, it's just going to be harder and harder to get on top of him. And Shyvana only really has that one gap closer. That Dragon Descent and then can burn out a little bit, but no really inherent gap closers like this Aurelia had. We saw how easily he was able to stick on First Mate there, Swiper. So this is the point in the game where they've started to hit their power spike. Trinity Force now picked up on Aurelia also. Death Cap has come out of Swiffer, and it looks like there's a gank in the top lane onto Intrepid, but he's sent something, he's running away really quickly.
Yeah, he's definitely getting out of there. He's burning out. I think at this stage does have that Dragon's Descent if he is in a little bit more trouble. BMA has found Spooks around the Baron, and Intrepid is there as well, but all of Immunity of their safeguards are going to come through. They don't want to fight that one necessarily just yet, and Swiffer now is on his own there a little bit. Super Mega Death Rocket coming through as well. There's the Zenith Blade, and that's going to be an egg stunned up, and the exhaust on the egg. That's an interesting maneuver. And, oh, actually, it's going to be Heavens taking down Swiffer while there is a big fight going on. NV is just falling like rabbits. Look at BMA. He's getting taken down so low. The artillery's trying to find the mark. We'll see whether Radiant can consolidate that one. But that's going to be top laner for mid laner here so far. And Spooks is down so low. The zap is there. Whoa, Spooks has got to get the heck out of here. Everflow not quite going to be enough. Nice satchel chud, some cute little plays here coming through from Heavens, and Envy trying to set up the vision so they can take this inner turret in the mid lane. Yeah. I think that was an Envy win.
Yeah, and win for Envy, definitely. Nice zone control to be able to push them off this tier 2 turret in the mid lane. They're able to pick up the objective after the fight, and this time it was Envy able to keep their members alive for longer than what they should have. BMA able to have a nice flash after the Blade Surge, so leaving Aurelia behind him. And this is where you see Ziggs really come into his mid-game power spike. The amount of zone control that comes out of that Hextech minefield when it has a couple of levels into it is so important for being able to position yourself around. And Heavens looks so comfortable on Ziggs.
Yeah, and I think that was the first misplay that we've seen come through from Immunity as well, is the fact that Swiffer was pushed up so incredibly far. Might have been a little bit of an overextension considering the fact that the rest of his team was sort of all together.
Yeah, but they burnt 3 flashes to get on top of him, so you have to think that maybe he just wasn't thinking that he was that important and they were going to invest that much.
It's his self-esteem that's the issue.
They've also been able to push into the top lane turret, so able to get the last of that outer ring down, and now it's a very, very open map, and the sieges may start to come through.
Yeah, Mattress is trying to defend his pink ward here valiantly, and he's done pretty well. As you can see, Spooks does not want to contest that one too much. Swiffer again pushing this mid lane out as much as possible, and if you're this Anivia, you want to be farming waves a lot. And as you can see, this is not a build on Anivia that we necessarily see all the time. We like to see a lot of these Rod of Ages situations. Oh, Xenoblade actually has been found onto Spooks here. Mattress very tanky as well, does have that face of the mountain as well.
And he didn't even have any of his team around him, and he still was going for the initiation. The important thing to note is that Immunity has not had any of their buffs contested, and as you said, this build that's come out of Swiffer is not mana intensive. It's got a bit of regen in there, but if he can't pick up blue buff after blue buff, his anti-siege goes down, he has to choose between farming and fighting. It makes the game a lot harder, so look for some deeper wards to go out on the side of MV. If they can start getting control of that blue buff, I feel that they can really take the next step into this game and exert some pressure onto a 6-2-3 Icebird.
Yeah, the 6-2-3 Icebird is definitely always going to be a problem. Intrepid is intrepidly heading down to this bottom lane to try and split push that one out, as Swiper does the same in the top lane. Spook's getting caught out. Nice array of CC. Does get the safeguard down as well. Aqua Prison on 2 members. Mega Inferno Bomb comes down, but that's not going to be enough. But that Super Mega Death Rocket is. And that's going to take Spooks down, but that's almost every ability ever used by NV on Spooks to try and get that jungler. Heavens now in a lot of trouble. Swiffer does so much damage here. Mattress is now the focus. Heavens does fall down. The zap does come through. Flame Trompers are going to lock down Radius so that he can't continue this chase, but answering their wave clear for the jungler, not necessarily going in NV's favor.
TP was burned, however, by Swiper to try and get to that fight, whereas it's still up on the side of Intrepid, so maybe a little bit of advantage there, and it doesn't look like they're pushing in for any kills. They're just trying to zone the NV side off. I think that then Heavens used his heal to get a little bit of a speed boost and get on top of the team, but he underestimated the amount of damage that is coming out of Swiffer at the moment. With that blue pot and the death cap and another blasting wand, he is doing so much damage.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And another thing we've got to mention as well is the fact that Swipe has finished that Trinity Force, does have a Giant Spell as well, so he's starting to get tanky like you were talking about. Having this tanky Aurelia, look at how much health, look at how much damage he's now got. Things are so, so scary.
Yeah, building that into a Randuin's Omen against a Jinx, particularly without the attack movement speed nerfs coming through on it at the moment, that's going to be so easy for him to stick to First Mate, and First Mate really needs to be hitting the high priority targets like Anivia and like the Kog'Maw in these fights if they are going to get a lot out, because Intrepid's gone full tank as he normally does on this Shyvana.
Yeah, the thing that's scary for NV though is the fact that a Kog'Maw, is going to be just the classic tank killer. That Bioarcane Barrage doing % health damage. He may be going, he is going for that Blade of the Ruined King next item, so he's going to be doing a lot of percentage-based damage, and a lot of it is going to be magic as well, because that Bioarcane Barrage does % magic health damage.
Yeah, so hard to build against Kog'Maw. As we see Immunity have the timer on this dragon, 3 seconds until it's up there, in perfect position to take another objective in this map. This is going to give them about a 5k gold advantage, and they're starting to build on the map control and dragon control at this point.
Yeah, Heaven's trying to zone out Swiper here. He's going to walk through that minefield just fine. trying to meet up with the rest of his team. I think he's a little bit lonely in that top lane, trying to get back around. Heaven's being caught out of position here a little bit as well, as Immunity does make their way down to the inner turret here in the bottom lane. But Mattress, being his aggressive self, looks to be going right into this front line. He almost wanted to start something there.
Yeah, so BTPD has been picked up by First Mate, so if there's a time that Jinx is really strong in this game, it's now. Not much armor has been picked up on the side of Immunity, so he could be doing so much work in these fights, particularly if there's some sunlight procs going around. The amount of AoE damage that can come out of that Q from Jinx is fantastic. So NV, whilst being a little bit behind, Void Staff has now been picked up on Swiffer.
Yeah.
He's just going pure damage.
Yeah, that's sort of the core item set here for these mid laners generally. Not the core item set for an Anivia as per se, but that is the most damage that you can do while still having a manageable mana pool that you can possibly do, and he's really hit that spike.
Yeah, this is the point in the game where he's very strong. And now it becomes about the Baron pressure. They don't look like they want to fight in the lanes anymore because of the amount of zone control that comes out of Heavens and Swiffer.
Yep.
So they're looking to get control of each other's jungles, get some deep wards down. If you look at Immunity's bottom side of the map, they have so many wards on where they are not at the moment and nothing on the top lane. Oh, as Spooks goes in.
Yeah, and Safeguard's out again, but he's being caught out. Everyone piling everything on top of him. He does manage to flash over the wall, but he's going to fall down. Mega Inferno Bomb is there for insurance, and that's going to be the disengage coming through here from Immunity, but unfortunate positioning from Spooks.
Yeah, but able to burn a lot of the spells, so maybe not that
Almost
bad.
everything.
Yeah, but just a little bit of miscommunication. Swipe was in that top lane. Heaven's being caught again. Whoa!
Whoa, there's the artillery. That's going to be the last shot onto Heavens. And look at the amount of damage from Swiffer. His Anivia is just doing so much. Of course, the only way you can magically critical strike being that E, and we saw it do so much work.
That was so much burst damage that came out of the Anivia, followed up by a really nice bio
Arcane Mirage.
Arcane Mirage.
So, yeah, that one.
Yeah, so now it looks like they're going for control of this Dragon Baron area. Coldmore does so much damage to Barons, and they're looking to bait it in, and there is no vision on the side of MV. This is really dangerous.
Do we think that Immunity should probably just start this one up, or is it going to be really, really dangerous regardless? Because that Solar Flare, that's 3/4 of the way through. That's going to be available if they do try and fight this one, or they have been spotted out though.
Yeah, so they were just trying to bait the team in. But NV were quite aware that they weren't willing to do it yet. Maybe not a big enough tank line. There is no armor still on the side of Immunity, so don't want to take that damage, particularly with the rain that comes down and all the AoE magic damage that can come out from a Shyvana, and a lot of mixed damage from that burnout. And so they just go back, pick up some more cord items. Player to the Ruined King now completed on Radier, so he's going to be doing even more percentage health damage.
Yeah, and I think that Radier was getting a little bit antsy as well, hanging around that Baron. Wanted to finish that Blade of the Ruined King, was sitting on over 1,000 gold there, so able to pick up a pink ward as well, so they're going to be able to keep consolidating this vision.
Yeah, so, and we see it all the time, Radier going back and buying pink wards for his team.
Yeah.
Unselfish as an AD carry, willing to lend himself to that map control. Swiper in the bottom lane clearing out a massive wave. His CS is just going up and up. For someone that was forced into a disfavorable 2v1, he's done a fantastic job of keeping up in CS. He's nearly equal with everyone on MV's lineup, as we see Mattress potentially getting a little bit caught in the jungle.
Yeah, and Swiper does have that teleport available as well, so he is in the bottom lane, but he's going to be able to get to these Baron fights quite effectively, as Team Immunity just trying to camp out somewhere they really want to pick, and I think it's because Spooks is a little bit upset about the fact that he's been caught out of position a couple of times.
I think it's also because they can't push into Heavens' Ziggs at this point.
Yeah.
It's so hard to push into a Ziggs, he does so much damage to creep, and so they're looking for some jungle fights, and it's hard because as an Anivia, you want to be setting up these picks around turrets, and the amount of burst damage that can come out of Swiffer at the moment, and Kog'Maw's long range lends himself very well to sieges. However, they just can't siege into this Ziggs.
Yeah, and Spook's trying to get around and make some work done. They're not going to be able to find it, and they can't find the doorway. You're exactly right.
Yeah, so look at them. They continue to rotate around as a group, pick up a lot of objectives between them, clear out the jungle, get some nice vision wards down, and potentially look to pick up an outer turret, like the bottom or the top turrets, because they're a lot easier to take than an inhibitor turret. But Immunity just moving around as a team at the moment, trying to get some control, but they're being mirrored the whole way around by this NV lineup.
Yeah, and NV are doing a lot of work as well, just making sure that their waves are under control so that Immunity can't surprise them with a creep wave crashing on a turret.
Yeah, and both waves, I think, in the middle and the top are actually pushing in Envy's favor, so there will be no turrets. Oh, as Heavens has been caught again.
Brilliant wall, but an answering satchel charge that really saved his life there. Living Artillery coming through from Radiant, trying to get as much poke down as he can. That range is really starting to increase now that he's past that level 11 mark. Look for 16 where that gets a little bit insane. He can do that from so far away. Swiper happy to tank up this turret. Nice wall coming through again. Heavens always the target of that particular ability. And Immunity not wanting to tank this one through. So it's wave clear versus wave clear here, Spawn.
Yeah, and Swiffer is just looking to pick up Heavens to get rid of all that wave clear whatsoever. Heavens was able to go back and buy in between these two waves because he got rid of it relatively quickly. And he's picked up the home guards. He's back in lane, so it's just going to go back to the sea. The mines go out, all the bouncy bombs, as there's an engage.
Yeah, Tidal Wave coming through. The Sonic Wave does land, but Spooks gets caught up. He's not going to be able to follow that one through. Living Artillery again. The heal actually being popped here from First Mate. Was a little bit frightened for his friend there. You can understand that, making sure that he throws everything, every bit of health that he can.
So Intrepid has no magic resist at the moment, and we saw even the tankiest member of an MV get absolutely chunked by Anivia. He's picked up another cloth armor, potentially going for his Ninja Tabby, but he really needs to get a Negatron cloak because Swiffer is doing so much damage, and if your tank can die that quickly, that's so scary.
Yeah, Immunity rotating around, picking up that Dragon as well. That's leveled up quite a bit. That's going to be a fair bit of gold. As we can see, the gold difference is about 8,000 gold. More like 7.5. That's a double flashover as well. Heavens being picked out. And Immunity, they really wanted to kill that guy. And now they're going to have so much more control.
Yeah, Immunity just recognized how important it is to get Heavens as Mattress has been caught.
Yeah, or has Rosie been caught. Nice solo play coming through to slow down Swiper, and he does get exhausted as well, but it's going to be Summoner Spell traded, and that's going to be the flash out of Mattress as well. So no flash engages to come through from this Leona, and that's going to be really scary. Spook's forced to come into this top lane and clear out that wave that was slow pushing nicely here on the side of NV. So making sure that just staving off a little bit of this pressure.
Oh, poor Spooks. That's the worst feeling as a jungler. He's going to clear the whole wave up, and then Radier's just going, no, mate, that's my wave. Oh, no,
he got his
giving
wave.
it back to him. Oh, nice guy, Radier.
Yeah, power to the junglers, Spawn.
Yeah, power to junglers. You saw the map control that Unity currently have around the Baron area. There are no wards for Envy. They have absolutely no control. They don't know if this is going on at the moment. They're starting to try and get their waves pushed out, but you think that at this point in time, with how strong Swiffer is, 309 CS in 31 minutes.
Yep.
He is an absolute powerhouse, 8, 2, and 4.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. BMA, I think, was expecting that Baron to be not there. But he's going to be able to potentially clear out this pink ward. He does. Sonic Wave does land on him. Spook's not going to go in on that one. Starting to get a little bit more scared, I think, is Spooks.
Yeah, and it just looks like they're prioritizing armor against a team that has a lot of ADs. But with Anivia being so fed,
yeah,
he's in such a good position where he doesn't need...
not to mention the fact that Swiper does true damage and Radier does a lot of magic damage with that W.
Yeah, so we really need to see some Banshee Veils come through, potentially one for Heavens as soon as he finishes up this Void stuff, which he can't be that far away from. And Swiper in this bottom lane is just continuing to push and cause headaches to the NV lineup.
Yeah, and he's going to have to be answered as well because Aurelia, left unchecked, is going to be able to easily take down these objectives with a creep wave at his side. As we can see as well, that's Zhonya's Hourglass being finished off by Swiffer as well. So he went back and completed that item outright, and that's just over 3,000 gold. So he's now very, very large. And Baron has been started up here by NV. Immunity cannot see anything of what's going on here as well. Spooks does get a ward over. Is it going to be enough time? The teleport does come through into that Baron pit. Mattress has been caught out a little bit here as well. Immunity have fought back for this position, and it's like they just hired NV to do a lot of Baron damage for them. There's Intrepid in with that Dragon's Descent. Rosie's going so low, but that's going to be brilliant zoning coming from Swiffer. Finishes off Heavens. That's a nice wall. It's going to be Spooks way in on everything. BMA answers a kill onto Rosie, but he's going to go down. Swiffer just has too much damage.
You can't leave First Mate alone as Swiffer comes through, picks up another kill.
Yeah, and the Living Artillery is coming through as well. First Mate is going to be the target of that one. Radier wants to get as much of this down, but I think that NV might be far enough away now. They're getting so deep into their base.
Yeah, so 2 for 3 in that exchange. A very protracted team fight. First Mate got left absolutely by himself with 2 tanks sitting behind him. Maybe a bit of miscommunication coming in there. Heaven's got a lot of damage off before he died. So that was fantastic work. He got focused by both of the initiators jumping onto him, kicked into the middle of the team. But the walls and the ultimate that is coming out of Swiffer at the moment.
Yeah, that Glacial Storm was just imperative in that fight.
Yeah, just controlling so much of the area. And then with Aurelia sitting on top of First Mate, forcing him to kite backwards, now that the last Whisper has come out, that's going to be a key item because First Mate just wasn't able to shake that Aurelia.
Yeah, and as you were talking about before, once Aurelia does get a bit of that cooldown reduction, hasn't actually built any yet, but as you get points into that Blade Surge, it's just so hard to get her off you, and the fact that she's just going to ignore a lot of that CC as well is just going to be really scary. Probably not going to be going for a Zephyr this time, so wanted to go for more of a tanky build.
Yeah, so this is a team fight build coming through. They recognize that MD have a mid-game team fighting team, and they just want to ensure that they have a second take to help Spooks out. Swiffer looking to get so aggressive now, just feels like that he's untouchable, and he has picked up that Randall Omen, so if he jumps into the middle of the team, he's going to be doing so much work with slowing down the whole team as they get allows his team to catch up.
Yeah, Baron was a little bit confused there because Spooks kicked him in the head and he decided he'd blame BMA for it. BMA forced to run the heck out of this one as well, and you can see NV are trying to get around here and get some work done, but they do not want to get through. As we do catch up a little bit there, and we have Swipe. The Tidal Wave comes through as well. Heaven's forced to flash out, but it's not going to be enough. Living Artillery comes down as well. There's the heal, but Swiper, as we saw, is so sticky. He's going to be able to take him down. Mattress is now the focus. He's going to fall almost inherently. And we've got an Intrepid now trying to come through. Does have that Dragon's Descent. It's going to be First Mate picking up a Super Mega Death Rocket kill. Nice Aqua Prison. That was incredible. Spook's going to fall as well. First Mate starting to do a lot of work. As you said, that last Whisper. Frostbite not going to be enough. Swiffer doesn't quite catch after that one. Flashing through for it, but BMA is going to be running away. Does have a little bit of extra movement speed with that spider form, and he's going to be all right as well. But that was decently traded back here on the side of NV, and I think First Mate is being underestimated a little bit.
Still a 3-for-1 exchange, and they're going to be able to pick up this turret, which is so easy to do without Heavens on the field. You can see as soon as Immunity go aggressive, they're only looking for one person. They just want to kill Heavens. They're investing so much into that guy. Now taking away his blue buff as well, getting that onto Swiffer, so important, as we've talked about. But 2, 7, and 3, what was looking to be a reasonably good game out of Heavens.
Yep.
I feel it's a little bit of an unfair scoreline because he's just getting focused so much.
Yeah, it's so scary for him, and it's making Swiffer look incredibly good as well, considering the fact that his whole team is going against Heavens. He's picking up all the kills. He's now 12, 2, and 4 on that Anivia. Almost completely full items. He's got that Spectre's Cowl, probably wanting to build up into that Banshee's Veil as we have a replay coming through.
So this is the team fight where we see that once again they just invest so much onto Heaven. He gets an actual brilliant ultimate across there as we have a Baron fight coming through in
Yeah, nice tidal wave over everyone. Heavens is going to be the focus again. That's no surprise. Swiper going down quite low though. Mattress is going to fall. Intrepid's going to follow. This is a whitewash. Rosie gets caught up by the cocoon, but BMA has to get the heck out of here. And Immunity, they have free reign over the Baron now. That fight went so well.
And Swiper able to pick up BMA in that top lane, so there's not going to be a cheeky steal coming out from that Elise. Fantastic team fight coming out of Immunity. Rosie catching a lot of people with these.
Rosie's Nami's been so impressive.
And the tidal wave coming across, just speeding his whole team up, and so much damage coming out of Anivia. 14, 2, and 6.
Oh my god.
Absolutely massive in these fights.
That's so scary. They are going to be able to take down this Baron. Of course, they're just dancing with him a little bit right at the moment. And Swiffer, as he generally does, is going to be pushing out this middle lane. And as we do have a few members that are yet to come back up, First Mate lacking some friends here. Nice teleport from Swiffer.
Yeah, so Swiffer just disappearing around the map really quickly. That Baron's going to die. There it is.
Good timing. They've been waiting for you, I think.
So we just see, if we go through the whole of the lineup, First Mate is the shining light for his team at the moment. He's looking to build into that Infinity Edge.
Yep.
No defensive items coming out. He's got the BT, he's got the Last Whisper and the PD, but it's just, you feel that the amount of burst damage that can come out of Swiffer, he needs a defensive item, but he's the only person that can really get through this Aurelia at this point in the game.
Yeah, and it's just going to be really scary. The thing that, just stands out so much is Swiffer versus Heavens, though, as far as those items are concerned. That's a Fool's on his Hourglass and that Spectre's Cowl as well. Spooks wandering through the base here.
Just making a V-line for First Mate. Zooming in on that Acolyte Lee Sin, that is my personal favorite.
That is my personal favorite skin as well. We got some good synergy, man. We should cast together.
So you see, he's actually picked up the Locket of the Iron Solari as well on his Lee Sin build. I like that a lot against the Ziggs, just because of the potential to shield a lot of your team if you get caught in that Mega Inferno Bomb. So at this point in the game, it looks like IM are in complete control. And as first mate just runs past, leaving him alone. And again, back fast.
I didn't think that Spooks was actually playing Evelyn, but I have a feeling he is.
So maybe look for immunity right now. They have the Baron buff. They will go. I feel they'll swing bottom because they still feel like the anti-siege from Ziggs is very, very strong.
Yeah.
But then once that happens, they can pick up the Ring of the Inner Turrets. They're a very methodical team. And they, once again, whilst they've built up a 15,000 gold lead, they look to close games in methodical fashions. As Rosie now leads Spooks into the base.
On his leash.
The buddy system, if you want to invade people's bases while all the turrets are up, make sure you do it. We check out the Wizards. They're very important to the game. They actually are gone in the new patch.
Oh my, let's not talk about that. We're all going to get sad.
Heartbroken.
Oh my god, those Wizards. Why did you have to bring that one up? Just bringing the mood all the way down. You're going to talk about the soup next.
The soup.
Oh my goodness. So this is a little bit of an in-joke that we probably shouldn't be discussing right away. We're having a few connection issues here coming through. But Immunity are just hanging around their Envy's middle lane inhibitor turret.
So from this point, you feel that Immunity have complete control of the game. Whilst the stall potential from Ziggs is very, very high, you have to feel with the amount of burst damage that can come out of Swiffer and the pick potential. We didn't really see Anivia as a pick potential character. She's kind of their siege, anti-siege character. But the walls that are coming out of Swiffer have been top-notch and able to catch a lot of people by surprise, I feel, particularly with this heavy AP build. Blowing people up left, right, and center. So you have to think that this could potentially spell bad news for MV, and that IM are looking to finish this game out strong.
Yeah, and the issue that I was seeing with Anivia just in general, as far as when we first came into the game, is her CC is just such a long-range skill shot, but Swiffer's walls have set up those abilities so well, and it's augmented fantastically by the Nami pickup as well.
Yeah, so Rosie, like, let's talk how we got to this point in the game.
Yeah.
Rosie on Nami has dictated the flow around the map. You'll remember that in the 2v1 lane, she went up there straight away, able to set up a gank for Spooks. They came away with first blood for Spooks. A couple of summoners burn in that lane. Then was able to rotate into the mid lane, protect Swiffer when he went into his egg form and blow a lot of mana that Heavens had to use. So that swung mid lane in his advantage. And then went bottom lane and helped Radier out. Radier got very focused in this game. So maybe that's what allowed Swiffer to pull Spooks, his shadow around the map a little bit more, impact the game that way. But it was just Rosie's pressure across the whole map on this Nami that was allowing the team to pick up objective after objective and slowly swing team fights. You've got to think, at 15 minutes in the game, Envy were completely even with Immunity.
Yeah, they actually pulled ahead by
a
K and a half.
Yeah, so as we see, Immunity has won the game.
Oh, spoiler alert, you're not going to be saying that.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I don't. So
it was no surprise. Immunity had so much control at that stage.
So
and when Swiffer does get to a point where he's 14, 2, and 6, things just get a little bit terrifying here. We are trying to find a way back in just so we can see what is going on.
So we're just, and so with the Nami pickup, with an immobile carry, her passive just lends itself so well to being able to kite around the field. So I really like that pickup from Mattress. As we go into the players shaking hands.
So it is going to be Immunity taking that game. Unfortunately, we did have a little bit of a spectator issue there. But that's going to be Immunity taking down Game 2. They are going forward through to the grand final here at Supernova Perth. And unfortunately for NV, they're going home.
Yeah, so NV, very well played. Able to influence the game early, but Immunity with their map control just able to exert so much pressure, come up with the victory. Really well played.
Yeah, really well played. I just thought it was incredible that Heavens got focused so much, and that paid off for Immunity so well.
Yeah, and the fact that they have so many threats around the map.
Yeah.
And whereas they felt that Heavens was the only threat on the side of Team NV, so able to focus him down, kill all the wave control, and just that impact into the game was just huge by the end of it.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. So congratulations to Team Immunity. And after this, we're actually going to have Team Curse taking on Avant-Garde Ascension. So nobody go anywhere. These are going to be some fantastic games.
with Spooks. I'm here with Spooks, who's a jungler for Team Immunity. And you guys have been picking a lot of Siege comps lately, so tell us the reasoning behind that.
I think it's just like quite a simple play style and it's really strong at the moment. Generally, I feel like jungle is a more supportive role and it allows us to, like, I can pick up like a sidestone and stuff and it allows us to get in like a good sieging situation where like Swiffer and Rosie especially are really good at playing champs that are long range and have heavy poke. So we prioritize those champs like Nivea and Ziggs, and we just like grouping and pushing turrets, getting good ward control, and I feel like it's the safest way to play when we feel like we have a strong laning phase. Just easy to snowball, essentially.
Okay, we often see junglers like Lee Sin picking up side stones, but we don't often see Elise picking that up. Why did you pick that up on her?
I just feel that, well, especially as I said on Siege comps, like you can't afford to get flanked. Envy had a really heavy dive comp. They had Yasuo, Braum, so you can't afford to get flanked. It's good to get really good ward coverage and vision control, so they can't risk coming from behind, and then they're forced to get poked out or chase you into a fight where they'll generally get low health from that. I think jungling on this patch is a pretty support heavy role. Like I picked up a Crucible in the last game for Leona. I just feel like, especially in our team with Swiffer and Radiant, who are quite greedy when it comes to farming and getting kills and trying to hyper carry, I feel like just me specifically takes a more support heavy role as well.
And you're actually the shot caller for your team. What kind of qualities do you need to be able to do a role like that?
I think just generally knowledge of the game and confidence in your shot calling. Whenever we have issues with our play, it's generally because of we're like not confident to make a decision, like we're tentative to do stuff and then mistakes are made. So having the confidence to make a shot call and make sure everyone is at that objective is like really important for me and for the team. So yeah.
Okay, and you guys are looking forward to the next series, of course. Who do you think is going to be the most difficult person to verse?
Person or team?
Person.
I think the most...
No, team, sorry.
Okay, team. Yeah, I think it'll be a good series between AVA and Curse, but with the roster change with Keen, I feel like that AVA might be a little bit stronger at the moment. We have struggled with them in the past, so we're looking forward to playing them, but I think they'll be the tougher competition for sure.
And on a night before a big game like today, what kind of things do you guys do to prepare?
Well, generally we sit down, we like to theory craft and plan out what we're doing. But generally we're pretty relaxed and we just like try to be casual and just not stress about the game. So yeah.
All right, thank you, and we'll be back just a second.
my god, it's a jackalope!
I'm here with Swiffer, the mid lane for Team Immunity. Can you tell us how you go from being an average player to being up on this stage?
Yeah. So there's three main things that you can work on if you're an average player. The first thing is warding, the second thing is mechanics, and the third thing is game sense. And warding, the reason I said that first is because it's clearly the most important, and if you're good at warding, then you should just easily climb in elo, and then eventually you'll end up here.
Okay, and when you fall behind in lane, does your mentality change, and how do you adapt to that with your play?
Right. So I only fall behind in lane against one person in this competition, and every time I do it, I'm almost clueless as to how to come back, but good thing that doesn't happen very often. What you should try and do is just ward the side so that they can't snowball the other lanes. And yeah, that's basically the most you can hope for.
Who's that person that you fall behind to?
It's the person playing now, the mid laner Choo Choos.
Okay, and who are you not looking forward to versing tomorrow?
Yeah, so basically because of what I said, I'm most not looking forward to playing against AVA if they do manage to make it to the finals tomorrow, simply because the laning phase for me is all important and Choo Choos is my biggest competition.
All right, thank you, and good luck tomorrow. We'll be back in just a second. I'm here with Radiv, the AD carry for Team Immunity. What were your biggest concerns coming into that match?
Biggest concerns was just during the laning phase. We feel like if we didn't go through the laning phase well, it'd be very hard to come back because Envy like to pick really heavy kind of team fight comps, especially first mate picking Jinx, or tend really likes to pick Jinx or Lucian and see Heavens on that Ziggs. But we felt like the best way to beat Envy was to just come out through lane well, and we executed like that.
And do you feel any extra pressure being one of the most recognizable players in Oceania?
Yeah, definitely. I always feel like there's a pressure for me to perform really well. Now that Swift is stealing some of the spotlight, there's less pressure on me, and there's a bit more on him, so it helps.
And next we have Avant-Garde Ascension versus Team Curse. Who gives you the most trouble in the bot lane?
In terms of bot lane, I would say that AVA would give us more trouble in the bot lane, because I feel like EGM plays very, very aggressively.
How do you think those two bot lanes are going to play out in the next game?
I feel like their bot lanes will be determined whether or not Kudrid gets Lucian. I feel like if Kudrid doesn't get Lucian, then Curse will have the advantage bot lane.
All right, and what do you think about Perth, the event, everything?
I think Perth is a nice city. It's the flight was kind of long, flying around for 5 hours from Sydney to Perth, but the venue and Perth, it's great.
All right, good luck tomorrow. We'll be back with game 1 in just a second. Welcome back to the Winter Regionals. We're going to get straight into our second semi-final of the day, so let's all welcome Avant-Garde Ascension. Now give it up for Team Curse. Best of luck to both teams. We'll be back in just a second with game 1.
Carbon has the most commanding voice, so if he makes a call, we listen to him.
Jungle sort of shot calls in just in a general sense. Like some teams do it differently, but because they're control the flow of the game, especially the early game, and then it sort of shifts onto me late game a bit, I think.
As jungler, I think I have the best, my position is best suited to making those kind of calls, because I'm not only usually involved with the play, I'm also spending a lot of time looking around the map while I'm clearing jungle creep. Me and Shelby both just play meta champions. We both just play what's good. I do it because it's what's best for my team. In terms of the rivalry, I mean, there's no bad blood per se. We're not BMing each other in all chat. But you'll notice that he will spend a lot of time trying to take my buffs. In every game we've ever played against Curse, Shelby will be in my jungle trying to 1v1 me. If someone's in my jungle, I want him out, and I will fight him 1v1. And Shelby's the same. Shelby comes looking for blood. And I think we just have very similar play styles in that sense, both very aggressive, and most of our games are dictated by who wins that first duel. If I can get ahead of Shelby early, if he gets caught trying to counter a buff, or if we manage to invade him and it's successful, that's huge for us, because Shelby doesn't really have an off switch. Shelby is aggression. Even if Shelby's behind, Shelby will continue to make plays. And if you have the gold advantage, more often than not, you can turn them on him.
Welcome back to Supernova Perth, and we are here for our second matchup here between Curse and Avant-Garde Ascension. And there has been a lot of rigmarole leading up to this particular matchup. This was one that was looking to go in Curse's favor, But with some roster changes that have had to come through, it's actually been Kian moving over to North America to play for Curse Academy that's left Curse a little bit in the lurch here. Do you think this is really going to affect them?
Yeah, so this has to affect them. He was really solid in that mid laner, arguably one of the best mid laners in the region, if not the best. Had a diverse champion pool, and they now have to bring someone through that is untested. Mizui playing in that mid lane role.
Yep.
Fantastic solo queue player, has been a sub for the team for about 4 months, but just completely untried in a LAN experience.
Yeah, and also the fact that he's not necessarily a mid lane player per se, plays a fantastic Lulu, but his other favorite champions are the likes of Caitlyn there in the bottom lane as well. So not necessarily here in the right position, but he was the one that you managed to get. Okay, of course, in the top lane for Team Curse, we have Colo coming through, Chelby in the jungle, Mizui in the dark, Trashboat on AD, and Airy on support.
Yeah, and of course on Avantgarde side, we have Minky Whale in that top lane, Carbon in the jungle, Choo Choo's their star mid lane player, Cardred on AD, and a Wreck Gymnast their support. Very well balanced team coming out of AVA.
Yeah, AVA looking really, really strong. And it was actually Frank saying before, the manager for Team Immunity there, that Team Immunity, if they're going to be scared of a team, it's going to be AVA.
Yeah, and they have the perfect match of veterans like Minky Whale.
Yeah.
And then these new talent that come through, like Choo Choo's is fantastic in the mid lane, plays a lot of these new characters like the Syndra, like the Yasuo pickup. Look for him to get on that. Carbon is a fantastic jungler, plays the game so smart and is equally as aggressive as Chelby, but in much more measured doses. I feel that's a difference between the two. Chelby is like the linebacker jungle. He just keeps going and going and going. And he, as Carbon said, he doesn't have that off switch, whereas Carbon's a smarter player for his team. Does tend to, if he's behind, not go with ham, but does capitalize on mistakes and loves that Elise pickup.
Yeah, he really, really does. And he stated it perfectly in that intro video, is the fact that Chelby, I think he was just fed a lot of ham. Because that guy goes in for everything. You saw his Lee Sin. I think that his team's almost banned him from playing that champion just because he follows up every single Sonic Wave. Yeah. Because he just wants to be in there, in the fight, doing the damage. And a lot of the time, when Curse were ahead, that worked really, really well.
Yeah, and Chelby is the barometer for his team. If he gets ahead early, able to impact these team fights, he can do so much damage. We saw him pick up, I think, a triple kill in the bot lane against Immunity in that game, and that's where it started swinging in their favor. And he plays carry junglers.
Yep.
And he impacts games early, and he looks for fights often. 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, he is like the skirmish king of the region and brings a lot of high-impact plays to his team.
Yeah, that being said, I mean, I think that Carbon and Chelby have a very similar champion pool now that Kha'Zix has suffered a few nerfs. Chelby was known for playing that Kha'Zix. He was incredible on that champion, always able to get leads early on, but now considering the fact that it's 4.9, this might really impact him, and it really does put the focus on champions that Carbon loves here in Elise and Evelynn, and of course that Lee Sin as well.
Yeah, so Carbon, as we talked about earlier, that Elise pickup is massive for him. Goes for the early tower dice, plays it picture perfect in that role. Eve is another interesting pickup because I know that both junglers play it very, very well. And that implied pressure around the map. What will be interesting is to see if Chelby actually brings out a Nunu pickup. We've been hearing about it a lot. I've been calling it out the whole round of 8. I haven't seen it yet, but he is so aggressive on the counter jungling and likes to get into lanes and help his teams. And Nunu lends himself to that playstyle so well.
Yeah.
That I think it could potentially be an interesting pickup if they do go for it.
Yeah, and seeing the Nunu overseas as well was just so, so refreshing. Helios moving over to North America from Korea as well and playing that Nunu and just having so much presence. And those absolute zeros were fantastic. So I'd be really excited to see that. And the fact that Chelby has to sort of rearrange his champion pool here a little bit really opens the door for that particular playstyle.
Yeah, and as we said, it's going to become about control for Curse. So Avantgarde obviously have the team that's been together for longer. So Curse is going to have to play as a team and get rid of a lot of early game nerves. Yeah. And I feel that a jungler that can impact lanes the way that Nunu does, not necessarily through ganks, but by frequent visits. Yeah. And by getting into the head of Carbon will really benefit Curse, particularly if he can get some pressure off Colo.
Yes.
Colo has been playing extremely consistently through the whole series and would be confident going into Minky Whale. Minky Whale is a fantastic player, but he's kind of like a rock on the side of Avantgarde. And Colo is going to have to look to shoulder a lot more of the load if Curse are going to do well in this series.
Yeah, and we've been seeing a lot of focus as well, especially in this top lane. It's a very different matchup than what we had before. Intrepid and Swiper loving that Shyvana. Like, that's their champion. We saw Intrepid on it in the second game there. didn't necessarily do quite so well, but I think that had something a little bit more to do with Swiffer there in the middle lane. But Colo and Minky Whale, they are the Trundle players of OCE. They love the troll.
Yeah, Trundle comes up massive, particularly because into the heavy tank meta, he just strips so much of that ability away. And mid-game and late game becomes this powerhouse that is so hard to deal with and makes the other top laner nearly useless. However, both players have also picked up Lulu, which is a great counter to that Trundle pickup. So if it goes early, look for Lulu to be picked up, and the kite back from Trundle is so phenomenal out of Lulu, and she can dictate so much of the lane early in the game that it's this back and forth matchup where they play both very similar champions, so it's going to be a bit of a mind game early.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that Curse are almost forced to ban out that Lulu as well, considering the fact that Wild Growth is just so powerful in combination with Choo Choo's incredible Yasuo play.
Yeah, so you have to do one of two things. You either have to take the Yasuo away or the Lulu away. If you let them both through, they will first pick those, they will grab those two champions as early as possible.
Yeah.
Because they lend themselves so well. AP top and obviously Choo Choo's in the mid with that Yasuo pickup. His wind walls are so clutch. And his movement on that champion, able to keep his passive up very, very frequently. You can tell that he's very, very comfortable. Even though he didn't have the best game when he played it in the round of 8, you just saw that his comfort, even when he fell behind, was so high that he could
it's like
still
he didn't
make
really
plays.
mind. He just knew that he was going to get ahead eventually.
Yeah, so able to make those plays. I guess the area that we haven't talked about is this AD carry, head-to-head.
Area. I see what you did there.
Yeah. Cardred versus Boat. Both very, very unusual ADs, I'm going to say. Cardred has a very tame laning phase and then explodes in team fights. We saw him on Caitlyn go absolutely
That flash
massive.
over the Dark Binding on that Caitlyn, so impressive.
And then Boat has to go into lane with Aerie, who's a very unusual support, so plays very, very far back in lane as well, and then comes up to be aggressive at unusual times. So it's a versatile lane from both sides and heavily impacted on what the game's going to look like.
Yeah, so we'll see whether Aerie does go with one of his unique pickups. Of course, we did see Orianna support and LeBlanc support being picked up, and that makes this champion select really, really interesting, especially if we were talking about the Lulu pick as well. Choo Choo's plays that as well as Minky Whale, and I could imagine the Gymnast would be able to play that as well. So such an ambiguous pick, and there's lots of these ambiguous picks potentially throughout this pick and ban phase.
Yeah, so with the recent nerfs that went through into Lulu's E, she has been seeing a lot more play in that bottom lane.
Yeah.
Can no longer get the two glitter lancers across the teams as we do jump into champion select. So I'm sure Gymnast will be very comfortable on that in the bottom lane, but we see it goes off straight away. Do not want to have to deal with that from Misui, who we said is a fantastic Lulu player.
Yeah, he's definitely going to go. Lucian being taken away here as well. So Lucian going to be taken off the board. Still has a 100% win rate here at Winter, but now banned away. So either picked or banned, and always wins when he plays. You probably want to get rid of that one if it's potentially going to be first picked. LeBlanc going to be taken off the board as well. So Aerie or Misui, not going to have that one.
Yeah, the best thing about this LeBlanc ban is it's actually probably aimed at the support LeBlanc more than anything, just because of the amount of disruption it brings to late game. We also see Carbon's Elise taking a hit there. Don't want to deal with that. Kale being taken off the board, of course. Keen is a fantastic Kale player. He's not playing today, but Misui, I'm sure, can pick that character up as well. So strong at the moment.
Yeah, just ridiculously strong. Last ban going to come through. It's going to be Kassadin, the obligatory Kassadin pick, and we do not need to waffle on about that one. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to figure that one out. Cardred going to be locking in this Twitch instantly. They knew exactly what they wanted.
ABA is that team that they obviously do their research and plan pick ban phases because they pull the trigger on first pick so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
They have their tier list of what they need to prioritize. Cardred obviously confident on that Twitch against anything that is remaining on the board because Lucian's been taken away.
Yeah.
And they're kind of the two ADs that are above the rest. Although it
Jax
has
made
let
it through.
Colo maybe potentially get this Jax.
That is quite scary here on the side of Curse because Colo, we've seen him on that Jax before and he's so comfortable, and we know that that champion is focused so often. Shelby is going to get the Evelynn here as well.
Yeah, so they're being hovered at the moment, the Jax and the Evelynn pick up. We talked about how Shelby is really comfortable on all the meta jungler picks, and his pressure already is that high. He has actually swapped over Lee Sin, so we'll stop talking about that one. Colo on Jax, though, is a fantastic pickup. We talked about how he needed to shoulder more of the load, and he can do that on a carry top laner like Jax, get those two offensive items, go into heavy split push mode, so hard to deal with, and Shelby has picked up his Lee Sin, so
we're in for some action, everyone.
We're going to have an exciting game.
Yeah, these Sonic waves are going to be resonating throughout this entire game. It's going to be ridiculous. Choo Choo's now hovering over that Shyvana, the classic sort of matchup here, and we've seen Minky Whale play the Shyvana into Jax matchup really, really well. Even being able to duel that champion late game, which is something that you would never expect.
Yeah, so Minky able to farm up very well on Shyvana and gets little advantages around the map, and then plays very, very smart. Knows the power spike of the champion, doesn't let Jack dictate the lane. Happy to dirty farm behind the waves, stuff like that, keep him involved. Gymnast picks up Morgana. I love this pickup when you have a Twitch. Black Shield is so necessary when you have an immobile AD carry, and the anti-dive that comes through with that ultimate, the Soul Shackles, so important. We do have Boat hovering his Jinx. He's such a good Jinx player.
This is the classic pickup here. Misui hovering over a lot of different champions here as well. Zyra being looked at, and that's an ambiguous pick. I personally love that Zyra in the mid lane. That's going to be locked in here, so we're going to have Boat on that Jinx, and the Zyra Jinx lane is terrifying level 2 and 3.
Yeah, fantastic catch potential that does come out of the Zyra.
That I'm a hover.
And the amount of burst damage that she can put down at level 6 with that Super Mega Death Rocket coming through. Fantastic 1-2 punch, and they have an extremely quick fast push.
Yes.
Look for them to, if they get into 2v1 lanes, Curse's fast push is phenomenal at this point. We have AV hovering a couple of unique champions at the moment.
Unique is the most diplomatic way that you could have put that. Fantastic work. Gymnast now going to be looking at the Jarvan 4. Fortunately, haven't seen too much of him. It almost escaped my brain there for a second. But that's the Yasuo, which was left open, which we forgot to mention, which is definitely a failing on our part, because this is Chuchu's favorite champion, and it escaped the whole pick and ban phase to the second last round. So, my goodness, Chuchu's going to be on that one, and Dragon's Sense going to be able to proc that, and Gymnast now has that, well, it's not going to be Gymnast, it's going to be Carbon, who's got the flag and drag, which is going to get the knockups as well. So this is going to be scary, and there's a lot of synergy for this Yasuo.
Yeah, so, and a very heavy AD comp has actually come out of AV. So I like the Orianna pickup. The shield's augmented with armor is so important in increasing champion health. Choo-Choo's on Yasuo, as we said, is extremely comfortable. Jarvan as a jungler, however, got a slight nerf that took him out of competitive play, where his flag and drag is much narrower. So if you haven't played Jarvan in a while, it's a very different feel to the champion. However, you have to think with Carbon, you don't really want to pick even to a Lee Sin, especially if Shelby is going to be repetitively evading. I feel like Jarvan is a very good pickup, able to fight in that early game. That Q does so much burst damage and shreds so much armor that it makes Jarvan a very, very scary champion to invade, and all the CC he brings means that you can't escape his jungle very well. And we do see that Misui has picked up Orianna. So much team fight control can come out of that. Speeding the Jax in and out of the team as well is so key. They're really putting a lot of emphasis on the Colo top lane here.
Yeah, and if you think about the counter wave as well coming through from the Jax, if you manage to teleport down, get a nice multi-man counter strike, that shockwave's going to be so easy.
Yeah, definitely. And these support mid laners are what we are used to seeing out of the Curse lineup. So it's not going to be a big change. Like the Kayle, the Orianna are often picked up by Curse. So I think that they will be very, very comfortable playing with this lineup. And it looks like with Shelby on Lee Sin, they actually have some very good initiation as well.
Yeah, and there's also another thing that I'd like to mention in favor of Curse is the fact that they didn't have Keen doing much of the shot calling. He wasn't often able to be a vocal force on the team. So having Misui here now, who's known for being more vocal, means that Trashboat isn't going to quite have to shot call everything, and Curse isn't going to necessarily lose a vocal voice in the team, and they're still going to be able to have the communication that they had before.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that's so key. As soon as you mess with the team's comms, it kind of throws them through a loop. So not having that impacted whilst losing a great player means that the structure of the team remains quite similar.
Yeah, it's really, really true, and it's really, really important to note as well, because having that sort of synergy is really important.
Yeah, and you heard Carbon say that he does a lot of the early game shot calling on his side, so that's the kind of head-to-head matchup that we are looking forward to in the comms, the Boat versus the Carbon, who can get their team around the map quicker. And I'm really looking forward to this game, because as we said, this is the one to watch. This is like a 50-50 toss-up.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit upset that Ares playing that Zyra in the bottom lane. I would have liked to have seen that one in the mid lane, but unfortunately it's not going to happen today, probably not going to happen for quite some time either. We are going to be getting into the Rift very, very soon, but there is so much on the line for both of these teams, and Avant-Garde, they are in favor at this stage, but Misui has not been tested. He could just somehow be the best player here anyway, but we are about to get onto the Rift. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. We are onto the Rift with Avant-Garde Ascension taking on Team Curse. Our blue side going to be Avant-Garde and Curse picking up the red shorts. And do you expect any level 1 action here, Spawn?
No, it's a very, very equal level 1. Zyra is a very annoying level 1 champion to engage upon because she does so much surprise damage with that Q, which you generally take first for that harass. A lot of lockdown potential that does come out of Morgana level 1, of course, but Choo Choo's doesn't lend himself well to invade. Jarvan doesn't. So standard lanes I'm looking for here. I think that both teams will be looking to just get their early advantage through standard play, and not much fancy stuff will be going on.
Yeah, all that fancy stuff does get a little bit tiring at times. We'll see where the junglers are starting. It looks like Chelby's going to be here at the red buff. Does have a ward here, so he's spotted out by Avant-Garde Ascension. They'll know whether he's opting for any funny business. And it's going to be Carbon changing his mind here, opting to go over his own red buff. Do you think that this is in order to mirror Chelby or maybe put him on different sides of the map?
I think it's because he wants to be able to fight Chelby if Chelby goes buff to buff. So if Chelby just goes level 2 invade, you really need a red buff to be able to fight a jungler that has a red buff, particularly one as strong as Lee Sin early in the game. So nice move there by Carbon. What it will allow, though, is that Gymnast will be slightly late to lane, and it might put Cardred in a little bit of an awkward situation, but both junglers just looking to pick up their red buff, and this is... Choo Choo's will go so aggressive early in the game with this E.
Yeah, and I think that he's probably going to be taking advantage of Misui, and the fact that he's not necessarily been on the team for all that long and may not necessarily be as confident here in the mid lane either, so we'll see whether Choo Choo's does go very aggressive. But having Trashboat on this Jinx, we haven't seen all that much recently. He's been opting to go for the Lucian a lot more, but when we first started seeing Curse playing, it was Trashboat's Jinx that almost had to be banned away because he was so comfortable.
Yeah, he's a very strong Jinx player, and it looks like Carbon's going to get busy straight away. Picks up that red buff, going bottom for a gank right now. He's going to go in on the bottom lane of Curse.
Oh, the Dark Binding does miss, but Airy, look at how squishy he is. He's going to get flagged, not quite dragged, but the last auto attack, first blood, the level 2 gank. Who would have expected it?
Yeah, so that's why, in answer to your question, that's why Carbon started red, because he was looking for a gank early. So. And this is why the Ruby Crystal start is a little bit popular on the Zyra pickup, or even a Dorian Shield sometimes, just because of how squishy you are early game. So Chelby now looking to invade the red side of the Avant-Garde jungle, maybe give some pressure to his mid laner who hasn't seen much competitive experience. Going to go in on Choo Choo's, although it looks like he might be aware that something's up.
Yeah, Carbon going to be spotted out here. Does have a level disadvantage. Nice knock up here from onto Chelby. The Ignite coming down straight away. The flash from Choo Choo's. Is he going to be able to pick up this kill? Nice command protect and the dissonance for the movement speed. That was fantastic. Misui, why did I ever doubt you?
So Misui able to get his jungler out of danger there. Saves the double
Really
buff
well
from going over into the mid lane. Choo Choo's with double buff would have been petrifying. And you have to worry that Chelby had to burn both summoners there for not much of an invade. Although it looks like Colo is going to be playing with Carbon a little bit. No, he's just going back to his top lane.
But as we can see, it's Carbon blew his flash as well. I think that might have been in the bottom lane. And Choo Choo's now summonerless in that middle lane. That's going to take a lot of pressure off Misui.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with playing a long-range character like the Orianna, able to get a lot of farm out with that ball control. And I guess that answered a question that was in my mind, how often we were going to see Chelby go mid lane to try and impact that lane, or whether they were going to resign it to maybe, okay, let's just see if Misui can hold his own and let's try and influence other parts of the map. But it looks like they are going to be throwing a lot of concentration into getting Misui up and going as a new player.
Yeah, and also keeping Choo Choo's down as well is so comfortable on this Yasuo and so dangerous.
Yeah, so farm in the mid lane, Choo Choo's is getting that early advantage, maybe because Mizui's a little bit scared of the all-in. As we see Minky Whale going very aggressive and Colo matching it.
Yeah, it does have the counter-strike, does get a little bit of damage down, and of course the stun, so Minky gets answered for there. Oh, actually, Choo Choo's going very aggressive on Misui here, who doesn't have a lot of mana. The Clockwork wind up doing a fair bit of work trying to get a little bit of damage back, and Chelby standing on a ward as Cardred and Gymnast getting fairly aggressive. The counter gank's coming through here on Carbon as well. You can see there's the Flame Trumpets. Really nice burst damage coming down. Cardred going down so low. Chelby's going to have the auto attack. Airy picks up the kill, the aggressive support that he is. Carbon decides not to go in on Chelby either, so Curse answering back.
Misplay there from AVA. They thought that with the counter gank they would have a lot more time, but Chelby able to hit his first resonating strike, and he just goes so quick as he gets caught.
Yeah, gets caught. There's a Tormented Soil as well. The Black Shield coming through onto Carbon. Do have the rockets coming down as well, and a very aggressive Curse bottom lane here. Nice Flame Choppers. That's going to stop the aggression completely.
Yeah, so action all over the map here with Shelby getting an answerable kill, just as I was saying how confident he was going into that. But
he's definitely confident. You can put your money on that.
Yeah, as soon as he lands one of his Qs, he just goes so quickly. So it's hard to counter gang someone that doesn't hesitate on their decision making. Straight in there, Ari able to pick up the kill. That's going to make Zyra even like getting the Sightstone is so important early in the game.
We saw a demonstration of that very early. Yeah.
Yeah. So just able to get a little bit more health, but more importantly that ward control, and Boat's back up in CS with all this pressure that's coming down into the bottom lane.
Yeah, both of our AD carries, even on items here as well, so the trading is going to go fairly equally. And both Twitch and Jinx are fantastic late game characters, but do you think that Rat-a-tat-tat's really going to help against this lineup?
Rat-a-tat-tat is a very good team fighting ability, but with a highly with the disruption that can come out of Aerie, I don't think it will impact the lane that much. Nice ward coming out of Carbon here, actually onto the blue buff of Shelby, trying to get some visibility around that when that comes out up at about 8:30. Shelby doing some counter jungler here himself, going in, going to steal away the wolf. So nice work there from the cursed jungler. Died once, doesn't care, picks up a longsword straight back into the jungle.
Yeah. Really wants to make sure. He's a longsword down here, so Carbon managing to keep the longsword count in his favor as Gymnast is tanking up this plant here. But Minkiewell gets dived in the top lane. Dragon's Ascent coming down at exactly the right time, and Shelby slams his face into the ground. They're going to be able to pick up that kill relatively easily.
Yeah, and with the wave into the turret, fantastic pickup from there. Avantgarde looking to answer in the bottom lane, but Carbon taking so much damage. That might have been easier to rotate into a dragon. We are seeing about 7-minute dragons at the moment. Yasuo lends himself so well to dragons because of that wind wall, being able to take a lot of that damage. But a lot of damage going down onto this bottom turret from AVA. So maybe they're looking to get the objective game underway early and rotate around this map quite quickly.
Yeah, they're really, really doing well. And forcing Carbon off that bottom lane outer turret as well was so important, making sure that flag wasn't there to augment the damage and to have an extra person there. They might have been able to get that one down, but because they managed to get a little bit aggressive, they fixed that one up. A nice dodge out of the way of the tornado there by Misui. And he's holding his own in this mid lane, doing okay. Is down 15 CS though, and on Orianna, who's just known for her ability to farm, this is a little bit scary.
Yeah, but the utility that comes out of Orianna will remain the same. Colo has managed to build up a 10 CS lead in this top lane with a wave in his favor, and is taking it to Minkiewell at the moment.
Goodness.
Even with the level disadvantage, he has picked up that Cutlass early, so he's going to have enough lifesteal to stay in lane. And Jax, when he hits that level 6 mark, that's like his first part of the game where he really takes control of the lane. You see how much damage that empowered W does, and he's really taking it to Minky right now.
Yeah, Minky actually dropping a ward. Oh, the counter flashes coming through, getting out of that counter strike. Nice work by Minkiewell. A little bit early on the flash there by Colo.
Oh, Carbon going for a cheeky steal there. Nearly able to pick it up, but it will be going over onto Misui. So fantastic pickup for Curse. This is maybe what Misui needs to start getting back into this lane. And it looks like Shelby is going to be going bottom lane for a gank again. With that level 6 Dragon Rage being available, it's very, very high damage threat coming out of the Curse jungler.
Yeah, and if they manage to get level 6 here in the bottom lane as well, Boat is level 5. Oh, Gymnast forced to use that Black Shield on himself, and the ambush being popped here by Cardred, so they knew that there was danger afoot, and they're not going to take their chances here in the bottom lane.
And Colo now, 49 CS to 74, really taking it to Minky in that top lane. As we said, Minky is a fantastic player, but he's more of that consistent
Colo with the roam here.
Colo's in the
mid
mid
lane.
lane.
We do have the knockout coming down onto Misui. Nice shockwave being used onto Choo-Choo's here, but there's the leap strike. We'll see where he gets it down. There it is. Misui picks up the kill. Colo with a fantastic roam on this Jax.
Great move there from Colo, coming around and able to influence the mid lane. Now helping his mid lane 1-0-0 on this Orianna, going to be able to pick up an extra wave, and maybe that will just get some of the nerves that Misui is feeling out of his system. And Curse look like they're playing extremely well at the moment.
Yeah, Misui actually going to forego the Athenes on Holy Grail first pick up and try and get this arm guard in order to get a little bit of this armor back in under his back pocket, just because Choo-Choo's is going to be doing a lot of damage. I think that's an intelligent move.
Yeah. Definitely, particularly if you rush a Zhonya's Hourglass. If Choo-Choo gets onto him in the middle of a team, but the Zhonya's Hourglass comes through, it's kind of you left there with no escape as a Yasuo, particularly with no shields coming out. You generally see Yasuos at the moment when you have a shield or something that can help you survive for a little bit longer with that lifesteal that comes out of your Blade of the Ruined King. But Choo-Choo's quite comfortable on this champion. Maybe we'll go a little bit more split push heavy, as we have again coming into the top lane.
Yeah, Carbon coming in from the back, walking fairly slowly here, just has a shield pop down. Nice flag and drag. There's the Cataclysm going to go up. Colo, he stands no chance. Grandmaster's Might not going to be mighty enough. And that's going to be Minky picking up a kill. Nice Venomous cast, meanwhile, in the bottom lane. The zap comes through. There's the vision onto Cardred. But Chelby not going to follow up. That's very weird, because you know what? only follows up on every.
But the ping straight away onto Dragon. Curse want to force this. They see the Gymnast is very low on health. They feel that they have a stronger team fight at this point in the game. With the plants able to help take some of the damage, although Shelby's just face tanking Dragon at the moment. They feel confident that they can pick this up, particularly because Carbon has stayed in the top lane to push that tower down. So fantastic trading of objectives at this point in the game. AV has built a slight lead, but you have to feel that Curse would be happy with how this game is going so far.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that they have to get used to a new mid laner almost instantly. They're doing so well, and Mizui's really been impressing me.
Yeah, a little bit of a CS discrepancy occurring in the bottom lane out of nowhere. Cardred has picked up a 20 CS lead over Boat. With the amount of time that Shelby is investing in this lane, you would expect that maybe it would be going the other way. He's already been able to pick up the Cutlass to just the Vamp Scepter at the moment, so Cardred is going to be so much stronger on this mid-game switch than what Boat is on Jinx. It's going to be difficult if they get into a 2v2 situation at this moment.
Yeah, if Boat manages to get to that BF Sword Power Spike, potentially even a Bloodthirster before the Blade of the Ruin King comes out of Cardred, do you think that Curse really need to act on a Power Spike like that?
Yeah, I think that as soon as the BF Sword's picked up, they need to try and take it to this Twitch, because we know that if Twitch gets rolling, he becomes this like split pushing machine during the mid game, where it can come out of ambush, out of that stealth, and just do so much damage so quickly. And with that expunge, his E, he just does a surprising amount of burst damage.
Yeah. That being said, Avant-Garde Ascension have relative vision control on the bottom side of the map, whereas Curse have really taken control on the top side. So Colo going to be pretty comfortable here. Does have that teleport available as well, so can get into any action that's coming down. Carbon is in this bottom lane, but unfortunately there isn't any members of Curse for him to prey on. He's going to just wander
brave
away.
move from Chuzus here. Walked into the jungle, able to pick up a pink ward, nearly picked up a second one on the back way through. So fantastic map control and vision awareness from AVA coming out. And it looks like Carbon potentially wants to visit this mid lane, but there are a lot of people congregating around this area.
Yeah, Carbon's there, but so's Minky well as well. He's come down to clear out that pink ward, got it pinged out there by Choo-Choo, so saying, oh, can the tanky guy come down? I'm a little bit too scared.
So it looks like Colo actually might be picking up the red buff on his side, although Shelby wouldn't give that away without a fight. No, Shelby's going to pick it up. I was just saying that because Jax is such a mid-game powerhouse, particularly if he can pick up his Blade of the Ruin King here, which he has just done. That would put him in a very, very strong position to duel Minky at this point in the game, particularly because Minky has also gone an aggressive build.
Yeah.
So he hasn't got the starting of the Randuin's Omen, which you normally see out of a Shyvana versus Jax matchup. It just shuts him down so much, as both caught in the bot lane.
Yeah, nice Dark Binding does come through the Tormented Soil as well. Venomous Cast doing a bit of work, but they're not going to go too far in on this one. Of course, under the Tower of Curse is a little bit of a dangerous place here for a Twitch who doesn't have all that much tanky stats. Carbon not going to be available as well. But as you can see, the vision control is, of course, in Avant-Garde's favor, but Dragon not coming up anytime soon, as Missouri might be under fire here. We do have the ambush potential gank coming through, but nice game sense coming through from Missouri. Knows there's a problem. We're going to be okay.
Fantastic communication coming out of the Curse lineup. The Twitch pick is even becoming more questionable because they haven't been able to take any objectives apart from the top lane turret, and it is so hard to siege as Twitch.
Yeah.
And then when you have these late game scaling champions like the Jinx, like the Jax, Orianna is fantastic late game, and it just makes it so hard as Shelby gets a little bit caught.
Yep.
Teleport coming through from Minky actually. They want some action in this bottom lane.
Yeah, Venomous Cast coming down, but not going to find Shelby. That was a little bit of an overly aggressive teleport here, unless they can get a fair bit of pressure down on this mid lane turret. Minky coming in from behind as well, looking to go for a Dragon Descent to push Missouri away, but he does have that distance. He's going to be able to get there. Avant-Garde going to be able to steal away this blue buff. Oh, there it is. It actually gets stolen here, and Shelby's in a lot of trouble. Manages to use that safeguard, get over the wall. He does have the flash available as well, and escapes in with the skin of his teeth right there.
So Shelby able to burn 2 ultimates and a flash out of Carbon, just pushing the envelope a little bit as Carbon's going aggressive onto Boat. Fantastic two-man grasping root. You need to be really careful, Boat. Get out of that lane.
Yeah, he's pulling a little bit of a Swiffer from last game. They do have a ward in here as well. There's the Soul Shackles coming down. Cardred's going to be able to finish that one off. The stun comes through. Dark Binding's there as well, and that's going to be Cardred picking up a free kill. And a little bit out of position there was our Bodhi boy.
Yeah, a little bit out of position. Fantastic work there by Carbon to flag and drag through and then able to pick up an assist. Shelby needs to be careful under this turret. I think he's underestimating how much damage Choo-Choos can actually do at this point in the game.
Oh, actually, Choo Choo's getting the last breath off there as well. We do have the heal coming through. Chelby's going really low. Command Protect is going to do a lot of work. We'll see whether they can get the last bit of damage. Shockwave comes down. Missouri is going to secure that one, and then it's going to be Shelby picking up the kill.
Great play in the mid lane. At the same time, Cardred was able to take down the bottom turret, so without that AD carry, they're able to pick up that objective. Mickey has rotated down, so Colo might be able to pick up a top lane turret in response. Jack does so much work at this point in the time. You get to hear that dunk coming through.
There it is. There it is.
With that Blade of the Ruin King, all that attack speed, able to pick that up, leaves the turret with a little bit of health so the creeps might take it out. And there's the equalization. Oh no, sorry, it's 2-1 turrets at the moment in the favor of AVA, but the gold lead is only 900 in their favor as well.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous on the side of Curse because they're an objective behind. So playing really, really well. And the fact that Choo Choo's has now died twice in a row. We did see this happen before, and Choo Choo's was, I don't really mind if I die, I'm just going to kill everyone late game, it's fine. But with a 1-0-1 Orianna who now has a Zhonya's Hourglass completed as well, that has got to be scary, and playing on the minds of Avantgarde.
Definitely, and a strange rotation coming out of Avantgarde right now. The Dragon is going to be up.
Nice start binding. Colo's definitely going to go down here. That's going to be Cardred picking up yet another kill. It's like the gank squad coming through from Avantgarde, and this inner turret's now in a lot of trouble.
Inner turret in a lot of trouble, but what will happen is Curse will pick up a Dragon for this. I think if they stick around, Ares in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Flag and Drag coming through does actually land the Grasping Roots. There's the flash after the Cataclysm. Beautiful spike. And Carmen picks up that kill. Fantastically played.
Yeah, fantastic work coming out of the Avantgarde jungler. Very, very comfortable on this Jarvan, you have to say. Now 3-0-2, getting a lot of work done around the map. And Missouri, you need to be careful. There's a whole team coming for you. And
Yeah.
Choo Choo's is in the mid lane.
It's a little bit frightening. Of course, does have that Command Protect to keep himself a little bit safe. But this mid lane outer turret is definitely going down the map rotations. There's a nice... Oh, wow. That wind wall was ridiculous. That could have been definite death for Mickey Well there. As Shelby actually comes in. There's the last breath. We've got the knockouts coming through from everywhere, but Choo Choo's is going to die. Brilliant. Zhonya's Hourglass. The Stranglethorn's coming down now as well. Shelby's going to fall. He gets picked up by Cardred on the outside, but Mickey Well's falling down low as well. Colo is now really angry with everyone on Avantgarde. But the Dark Binding coming out from over the side. Gymnast is fantastic at this champion. And there's the Command Protect. My gosh, Missouri has been impressive as heck so far. Curse only losing one member after Avantgarde got arguably the engagement that they wanted.
Yeah, trading 2 for 1, able to take down the pot turret at the same time. Getting that shutdown on Orianna is going to ensure that that power spike comes even sooner. And it was a really impressive play from Mickey to flash out over that Wraith wall. Otherwise, that would have been a 3 for 1 and a fight firmly in Curse's favor.
Yeah, ridiculously well played. And of course, Gymnast landing a really nice Dark Binding to make sure that Cardred wasn't hunted down by Colo there as well. Avantgarde do have control of this Dragon. There is a ward there, and it's going to be available there for Curse. They're pinging down on it pretty hard. Not sure whether they are going to be able to take this one, as Boat does come in.
So able to disrupt it. Gymnast taking so much damage. Does hit a snare onto Colo though.
Oh, here's the collapse. This could be very, very scary. We've got a lot of damage coming down onto Airy. He's so squishy. He's going to fall. Blade of the Ruin King's popped by Colo. Forced to flash over the wall. No one's going to be able to follow that one up. Avantgarde have really commanded control of this Dragon.
Yeah, just a little bit too slow on that rotation from Curse. Thought that they had a lot more time than what they actually did. Avantgarde able to come through as a unit, do so much damage to Colo, and that's going to make a Dragon for them. They've got a 4,000 gold lead at the moment, and it looks like they're starting to get some more control around the map.
Yeah, they're really holding on tight, and their rotations, which we've talked about a lot, have been so impressive. Avantgarde Ascension, that has been what they've really managed to pick up on recently, is they're rotating around the map, and it is no exception in this game. They're playing really, really well.
Yeah, so looks like Shelby is going to be able to pick up his buff, so Choo Choo's is 0-3-1 on his Yasuo at the moment. He's not having a fantastic game. And 2-0-2 on the side of the Curse mid laner Missouri. You've got to say this is a massive confidence boost coming out for Curse.
Yeah.
And even though they're behind, they must be feeling okay.
Yeah, they must be feeling okay, especially considering the Jax factor on top of Jinx and Orianna. Their late game potential is ridiculous. It's only going to be Shelby that's really going to be falling off later game. But even so, that Dragon Rage is always going to be great. So look to see Choo Choo's really try and get last breaths at exactly the right moments, because I think that's really going to help Avantgarde in these team fights that are otherwise going to be really difficult.
Yeah, but Cardred on this Twitch, 4-1-3, must have a commanding gold lead over the Jinx at the moment. There you see it, it's nearly 2,000 gold on just the AD carries. That's nearly the PD that will be done for Twitch quite soon. And Boat is not having a fantastic game. Lost his lane, even with a lot of attention from his jungler, and just looks like he's getting pushed around a little bit.
Yep, and it's going to be Cardred here, clearing out the middle wave. We've got 3 members of Curse going to be answering back. Choo Choo's gone into split push mode, as Yasuo is likely to do, using that E to make sure he clears out these waves as quickly as possible. But Boat's here to pick up the rest of the CS, and he's really trying to get back into this game. As you mentioned, Cardred's so strong, and Jinx really needs to match that. Shelby is now being caught out here a little bit. The Katana Net coming through, but a nice command protect means that he's going to be safe, not even lose any real health to worry about.
And brilliant move to send Choo Choo's into the lane to split push, because Orianna has picked up that Zhonya's Hourglass, so has that armor, whereas Boat has nothing. He's just got a BT, so he's not going to be able to duel Choo Choo's one-on-one. He's going to need that help to come across, which pulls Colo out of his top lane, and a lot of attention is given to the middle of the map at the moment.
Yeah, Carbon looking for a little bit of action with the Flag and Dragon in the mid lane, but Colo just going to wander, list lazily out of the way. That one, Choo Choo's might have been caught out here a little bit by Shelby. Dragon's Rage is available, but Carb, wow, Choo Choo's going so aggressive. There's the last breath, and last, the Dragon Rage kick is going to come through. The Flame Chomp is not going to stop Carbon. There's the Cataclysm, forcing the flash out at Shelby as well. Teleport coming in from Minkiewell on the back side. He gets in there. Colo's now the focus. I'm not sure how he managed to get there, but that was not where Colo wanted to be.
Yeah, definitely not where he wanted to be. In the middle of the whole of the Avant-Garde team. Fantastic teleport coming through from Minky.
I thought you guys were wearing blue. What the heck?
Just great map awareness, rotating into this bottom lane, going to be able to pick this one up. So this is now going to turn into a 7,000 gold lead on the side of Avant-Garde. And you can see that their rotations during the mid-game and their vision control is very good.
Really strong, and I think a lot of this gold lead is in the fact that they've taken down so many of these turrets. Only one inner turret remaining there in the mid lane, so they have so much control. Only 2 turrets going down, period, for Curse.
Yeah, 5 to 2 turrets at the moment. Of course, that farm discrepancy coming out in the mid lane also showing. Minky is also caught up to Colo, and it even surpassed him in farm. Is now 3-1-1.
Yep.
2,000 gold in his back pocket. He had a fantastic last fight, and now this is to the point where Minky is going to be comfortable fighting against that Jax has been able to pick up his Warden's Mail.
Yeah, has the Warden's Mail. He's probably going to be able to pick up a Randuin's. There it is coming through instantly. So this Shyvana just got really scary, and we know once he finishes that Thorn Mail, which he likely gets about 5th or 6th item, that means that Jax is probably not even going to be able to fight him anymore.
Not even going to be able to fight him 1v1. Choo Choo's at 0, 3, and 2 has just picked up his Blade of the Ruin King, so his dueling potential just goes even higher now. And you have to think that we saw how much damage he did to Shelby and how willing he was to fight. Now that he's picked up his really core dueling item and the item that does so much damage to Baron, Avant-Garde are in a fantastic spot with their control over the map.
Yeah, and as you were talking about, the Phantom Dancer coming through from Cardred as well, so there's a lot of 2-item power spikes coming through on the side of Avant-Garde, so I think the Curse really needs to watch out for the fights they want to start at this stage. Boat is testing his luck there a little bit, but does win the battle as far as Wraith control.
Yeah, just wanted to pick up those Wraiths. That cheeky 3 CS that you get off the little ones is always nice on your scoreboard. They have sent Colo to try and deal with Choo Choo, so they are a teleport in favour of that. I think that Jax at this point of the game actually does have the advantage in the 1v1, so I like that swap up by the Curse lineup, and it also ensures that their main damage dealers will be around the team fight, and they have a lot of zone control with Orianna, with Zyra, and of course that Jinx ultimate that comes through.
Nice Dark Binding come through. The flash into the Soul Shackles as well. Shelby in so much trouble. Dragon's Rage comes through, but I think that's kicking Carbon towards the rest of his team. Nice shockwave onto Cardred. That's the target that they want to hit. Super Mega Death Rocket does go wide, unfortunately, but we do have, there's the Stranglecords coming down. Cardred in a lot of trouble. Brilliant exhaust. Going to stop Colo from doing too much, and he finds himself in a very reminiscent position. He's now in amongst all of AV, struggling to find his way out, and he's getting kited around. This is not what he wants as a Jax. Mizui and Area both very low there, and they were chased out by Minkiewell. And wow, that was just such good control by Avant-Garde. Colo must be furious.
The chases coming out of Curse is a little bit confusing. They're trying to catch up to all these priority targets and leaving behind a couple of their carries to get domed quite heavily. We saw the Boat went down nearly instantly, and Area had to pick up a nice kill under turret to equalize that team fight. But giving up the top turret, now their base is breached. With a Twitch that is so bad at sieging, you have to think that early game advantage to get the inhibitor turret by only 25 minutes is a massive plus on the side of Avant-Garde.
Yeah, really well played, and their ability to move around the map and get the picks that they need has just been outstanding this game. And as you said, without the pick potential, it's just really, really hard. We saw as well the fact that Avant-Garde's vision control is ridiculously strong. We saw just before the perspective of Curse, and they felt so locked in their own base. You can see every ward is defensive. They managed to find a few more around this map now as they've had some time to consolidate. But before, it just looked so dark and scary.
Yeah, so, and Curse look like they don't have any control over this Dragon area either, which has now just come live. So look for AVA to rotate down there, particularly with three-bladed Ruined Kings.
Yeah.
They have such good neutral creep control on their team right now that Baron, if they decide to do it, will disappear.
Yeah, Cardred attacking incredibly quickly now that he has that Phantom Dancer Blade with the Ruined King combination. And it's going to be Gymnast tanking that one up like the good guy he is. And now they're going to easily take this Dragon for free as Curse runs back into their base.
Yeah, so Curse just looking to farm out, maybe go for that late game scaling with the Orianna and the Jinx and the Jax as we've talked about. But you have to think at this point, the game is on Avant-Garde side to maybe make a slight error for them to come back in. So that's what Curse is waiting for now. They're a very, very patient team at times, with the exception of Shelby, who will just keep going now. But the rest of the players will understand that at the moment they're a little bit weaker and they have to wait for the late game carries to start scaling up.
Yeah, and the fact that Jinx is still sitting on one completed item here as well, it does mean that their teamfight potential is not quite as strong as they would otherwise like, and getting a favorable matchup is going to be really, really handy. But that means that Avant-Garde Ascension can probably brute force their way through this top lane.
Yeah, they can definitely look to fight now. Carbon has just picked up his Randuin's Omen as well, so he's much tankier at this point, and he's forgone the Sidestone, but the map control that's coming out of AV is so good still.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Command Protect onto Shelby, just making sure that if he does decide to go completely ham, he's got at least a little bit of protection. They're going to be able to try and clear out the big one. Look, everyone diving on top of Curse. All of the ultimates coming down as well. Missouri now the focus. He does have that Zony's Hourglass. Choo-Choo's going down very, very low. The teleport coming through. Trash Boat gets excited. This might be where they can turn it around. Cataclysm is going to spell death on the side of Carbon, and Avant-Garde Ascension. That might have been the mistake that Curse were looking for.
Misplay from Avant-Garde, diving 3 people over the wall into an Orianna roll, just cleaning up so much damage. Fantastic kick coming through from Shelby, getting Choo-Choos into the middle of his team, able to pick up 2 kills, and now look like they want to push down this mid lane, able to get a little bit of map control back, and you have to say that that was completely out of nowhere.
That was out of nowhere at all, and Missouri still had that Zhonya's Hourglass as well throughout that whole fight. He wasn't really under that much strain. All Colo now diving really, really deep. The counter-strike is there. Miguel getting taken down. Nice flash out of the way from Shelby. That's Miguel falling down. Colo picking up that kill. Getting Jax further and further ahead is a terrifying concept. As we'd have him leap striking away, he's going to throw a little empowered shot there, and Boat gets excited after taking down that turret, and Airy knows exactly how far Dark Binding is going to go as he just clips the end of it, no worries.
All of a sudden, Curse pick up a couple of kills onto their carries. Now 3, 4, and 3 on that top lane. Jax, 2 turrets in the mid lane, and just have a lot more control over the map. Although it looks like they might have overstayed, because it looks like Avant-Garde wants to go for this Baron, and with 3 Blade of the Ruined Kings, this is going to go down so fast.
Yeah, so fast. Curse needs to try and get back here as quickly as possible. Super Mega Death Rocket is available. Gymnast is down fairly low on health. There it is, it's coming through. Gymnast takes a fair bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough to turn them off this Baron. Shelby's got to have the Master Steal. He's in there, he's in amongst everything. Doesn't manage to get the steal. It's going to be Cardred picking that one up. Nice attempt there from Shelby. The Choo-Choo's going to end his life for his folly.
Boat was able to pick up Gymnast in that fight with the Super Mega Death Rocket, though, and all the damage that came out from Baron. So with the open inhibitor, you have to think that this will be the first inhibitor of the game. Shelby nearly got out with his life with a nice safeguard, but Cardred taking that smart on Twitch, obviously, able to pick that one up.
Yeah.
So now the stall has to come out. How does Curse go at stalling out against this? As we see a replay of the fight that turned the game a little bit back in Curse's favour, that was the Stranglethorn into the Shockwave that was so good, and that kick from Shelby just made sure that Choo-Choos couldn't get anywhere near Missouri. Able to get Carbon after he throws himself into the team, maybe kills himself there. And this is where they pick up 2 turrets, but unfortunately gave away the Baron because of a late rotation in that direction.
Yeah, picking up a couple of turrets is definitely good though, and Curse, as we saw throughout this game, are happy to turtle this one out as well.
Yeah, so Gymnast in the bottom lane picking up a lot of support, CS on his support, just farming up to become that late game powerhouse that we know Morgana can be. But with the Baron buff now on everyone but Gymnast, you have to think that the top lane becomes the attention spot, because that's still an open inhibitor, and you have to still feel that if everyone groups up, Choo Choo's ult will be the deciding factor in these team fights.
Well, Chelby clearing out a ward here. He's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to safeguard over to that ward there too.
Really nice use of Lee Sin's moves there. Lee Sin's passive, of course, when you use an ability, gives you that extra attack speed. And always save your W. Because as long as you have a ward, you have a free escape over a wall. So what Chelby did there, uses his Sonic Wave, and then uses his E, able to clear out the wall and be safe at escaping over the side. Really great Lee Sin play coming out of Chelby there.
Yeah, making sure that he gets as much mileage out of that champion as he can. Carving going to be stealing away this red buff as well. As we can see, Avant-Garde just with so much more map control, just their vision across the map, due to the fact that they've taken so many of these turrets, is just gigantic. Yeah, and as we can see, Curse now trying to desperately hold on to this inhibitor against a barrened up team of Avant-Garde Ascension.
And Curse is so close to some core items with that great plant coming out there to stop that. Curse really inhibitor will go down. But you feel that if Curse had the last Whisper on boat, which they're so close to, and then had the Void Staff on Missouri in the mid lane, which they're also so close to, that they would be much more confident fighting with the amount of resistances coming out of the front line on the Avant-Garde side. But they're just a couple of 100 gold short of both those items, and it means they can't fight at this point, particularly with the Baron buff.
Yeah, so that's going to be the inhibitor going down. Unfortunately, Avant-Garde Ascension haven't managed to rotate around and take anything else yet, so we'll see whether Curse can still hold on to these turrets, because that's going to be the main thing, isn't it? Because Cardroot on that Twitch going to lack a little bit of that siege ability, and it's going to have to be Avant-Garde Ascension planning a massive dive here. Colo might be a little bit out of spot here, but nice inner turret taken. It's going to be Avant-Garde just having so much pressure.
When Gymnast getting chunked by Missouri, taking nothing in return. There's a fight.
Yeah, here's the dive. The Cataclysm coming through. All of the ultimates coming down. The knockups coming. Choo Choo's gets obliterated. Colo now with the Command Protect. Mickey Wells trying to disrupt this backline, but you've got Boat now doing a lot of damage. Now it's Chelby. He's going to land that Sonic Grave. Resonating Strike coming through as well. Mickey Wells in a lot of trouble. Dragon Rage comes through, and that's going to be all the members of Curse making sure that Mickey is going to die. Avant-Garde Ascension are around the back, but they do not want to go in and face this. And Curse again with a really nice 2-for-0 fight.
Another extended team fight where Avant-Garde thought they were a little bit further ahead and dove into, once again, a fantastic anti-siege comp in Aerie on Zyra. And there's a teleport into Dragon. They want to fight again.
And Colo's teleporting onto the Dragon as well. Dark Binding coming through again from Gymnast. Unfortunately, that teleport a little bit wasted, but I liked the idea behind the play.
You have to like the enthusiasm that he's showing at the moment.
That's exactly right. Points for trying, definitely.
But with Orianna and Zyra, they're so hard to dive, particularly with a Twitch, because of how much AoE crowd control they bring. They're like a perfect anti-dive duo. That Stranglethorn's going to hold everyone in place whilst the Shockwave goes through. Did so much damage and hit 3 members at the back and kind of left Mickey in their base by himself, just like, wow, what do I do now?
Yeah, and that just combination of ultimates has just been so effective here for Curse. But Choo Choo's has hit a gigantic spike on this Yasuo. Now has that Infinity Edge, is going to be building up to possibly that Guardian Angel as well with that Negatron Cloak. And despite the fact that he's 262, he's still going to be doing ridiculous amounts of damage.
So much damage. 305 CS at 33 minutes in the game, so nearly perfect CS coming through there. However, the 2 penetration items have come through on the side of Curse. The Void Staff has been picked up, and the Last Whisper. So look for them to be doing so much more damage to Mickey, and he's not going to be able to go as aggro as he has been, because he only has that Randuin's, and Missouri is going to be doing so much damage now.
Yeah, and we saw in the backline as well, Curse really were able to kite Mickey out, and Mickey wasn't able to be that big dragon causing all that disruption in the backline. So really well played here by Curse to see whether they can hold on, because of course the objective's still so in favor of Avant-Garde Ascension.
Yeah, and it looks like Mickey is getting some alone time in the mid lane on that turret. Might be taking some health off there. Just taking it up. He is so beefy at the moment. And in an open field fight, I think Avant-Garde would run over the top of Curse. However, they're just playing this so smart, not leaving their turret, and just getting so much poke damage. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket does come through.
Yeah, not sure whether that was necessarily the best maneuver, just because there weren't many people that can be potentially executed by that ability, but trying to stave off the onslaught, just saying, no, Super Mega Death Rocket, have to the face.
Yeah, so Missouri 3-0-7 on this Orianna. We have to give him a shout out. What an impressive first game.
Yeah, exactly.
Exploding into this map. Nearly perfect performance, you would have to say. And whilst he's down in CS, he's providing so much utility to his team that he's making up for it in a lot of different ways.
Well, he helped with Chelby's aggression so effectively in the early game as well, saving him with so many of those command protects and that heal as well. Mickey split pushing this one up really well. And you can see that the super creeps in the top lane are making it so hard for Curse to know where to be on this map. Avant-Garde are playing it so well.
Yeah, Avant-Garde just trying to stretch them, look for an opening, as Minky is going to go in for this open inhibitor as well. So just trying to control the map pressure as Colo's trying to take care of some super creeps.
Yeah, Curse. Avant-Garde essentially know that they've got an inhibitor that they can take. Shelby's gone way too deep now. He's going to die. Gymnast picks up that kill, and this could be the start of everything here for Avant-Garde Ascension. The dive coming through Chuchus. Look at all the damage. Airy goes down. There he's going to die, definitely. There's boats dead as well already, and Chuchus is going to fall for it, but after taking out so much of Curse, and they take down the inhibitor turret, this could be the floodgates opening, unless Mizui has something to say about it.
Yeah, so Mizui comes up huge with a nice ultimate, but the damage was already done. Avant-Garde in the base take down 2 inhibitor turrets, and now the inhibitor again. I don't think Colo will be able to catch it up to Minky, and it's just going to be able to run away. So, what was that, 3 for 1 in the end?
Yeah.
And Choo-Choo's doing so much damage on Yasuo.
That was stupid. I thought that it was Airy that died when Boat fell down, just because that was a corpse on the ground and I couldn't quite identify it. It was really, really just ridiculous.
So it looks like it will be the Guardian Angels that will come out for Choo-Choo's, picking up that Chain Vest and the Negatron Cloak. Now with the top inhibitor down, Avant-Garde look very confident taking this Baron once again, starting it up with only 4 people on, but it is watered. I just don't think the Curse can get there in time.
Yeah, they also have open inhibitor in the bottom lane, and the inhibitor died again there in the top lane as well. So Super Creep's going to be really difficult to contend with. Avant-Garde do know they've got a lot of Oh, Super Negatron's not going to be enough. And wow, Avant-Garde just almost knew that was going to happen and moved to the right position.
I think that was actually Baron throwing Carbon into the Super Mega Death Rocket, just preserving his own life.
That's Baron bias right
there.
there.
Yeah, Baron bias, RNG, right. So able to get through. That's the Baron buff picked up. You have to think with now a 12,000 gold lead, 2 inhibitor turrets down, that Avant-Garde will slowly move in for the final team fight, trying to strangle out as much resources as they can in the meantime, push up the bottom and mid lanes, just get everything in their favor. No need to rush anything. They're a very, very smart, patient team, and you can see it in their play.
Yeah, that's really, really true. And the thing that I'm finding really, really strange is the fact that there's a 12,000 gold lead here for Avant-Garde Ascension, but when it comes down to team fights, we've seen 2 of them that have been really good. Shelby gets caught, unfortunately. He's going to be able to safeguard eventually over the wall. Cardred is there, so Shelby's not going to die. And I was expecting him to definitely fall down there. So nice work being able to get out of that one. Colo is going to find Minky here as well. Minky's got to the point where he just doesn't really mind. He's happy to either run away from Colo when it gets too much, or just hang out and clear out these creeps. Choo-Choo's has got that Guardian Angel finished up, so this is a ridiculous time for Yasuo.
Yeah, Yasuo is so strong at this point. Cardred also with that Banshee's Veil, so he's going to be blocking a lot of the magic damage coming out. They keep sending Colo into this top lane, but what it means is that Jax isn't there for the team fight, and Minky's just able to get so much split pushing pressure done as we go in.
Yeah, Carbon actually is right in amongst this fight. Airy's so squishy, he's going to go down. Cardred picks up the first blood in this particular fight. Oh my goodness, Colo's in amongst everything. That Counter-Strike doing a lot of work, but he's going down really, really low. Shelby's going to fall. Minky Whale actually flashes in on this one, and this is going to be Avant-Garde just rolling through the base. Nexus turrets falling left, right, and center. The Nexus is going to go down. Avant-Garde Ascension taking game 1 here at Perth Supernova. Really well played. Their objective control was ridiculous.
Yeah, Avant-Garde just so well played, patient around the whole map, knew the power spikes of their team, and when they had that advantage, just started putting the stranglehold on, able to get through with some really nice clean fight pickups there, and very, very deliberate play coming out of the Avant-Garde team.
Yeah, really, really solid play. We saw some massive signs of life here from Curse, though. I was really worried considering the fact that they've got Mizui there in the mid lane, has to replace Keen. Like, I don't think the boots could have been bigger as far as filling them is concerned, but Mizui, I don't think he died that whole game.
Yeah, near perfect game. I think he died at the very... No, he didn't. 3-0 and 8. Most gold on his team. Able to keep up in CS. Of course, Choo-Choo's got a little bit out of control in the late game, but that's what happens with these AD mid laners when they hit their power spike, particularly Yasuo with that 100% crit damage, just goes absolutely nuts. But you have to think that bot lane is now the problem for Curse.
Yeah, it really, really is. That Cardred Twitch and the fact that he managed to use that early game to get so many ambush kills just meant that he was so hard to contend with, especially in the late game. We saw the fact that Shelby was just melting, had the Randuins, but it just looked like he was taking way more damage than he should.
As we go into a replay of the last team fight, you see that they just go so deep with Carbon and Choo-Choo's. Choo-Choo's flashes out because he's a little bit scared of the Stranglethorn Orianna ult. Ori actually hits 2 Banshee Veils with her ult there. So not as much work as could be done. We see Choo Choo just coming through, cleaning it up. Miki flashing in aggressively at the end for some style points. They just roll in onto the inhibitor turrets, able to take out the game. But you have to say that very well played from the side of Avant-Garde, but I think they would be surprised with how much work got done from that Curse lineup, particularly with some of the fights around Baron.
Yeah, really, really true. And I think that they played that last team fight so exceptionally well because it was Curse's burst damage up front that was really, really dangerous for Avant-Garde. They just sidestepped all of that, let the Stranglethorns, let the Shockwave come through, and then proceeded to roll over them.
And they didn't fight before they had items.
Yeah.
So, like, when you're ahead, if you don't capitalize into big items, it doesn't really mean that much. They waited for the Banshee's Veils, for the GAs to come out, then took the final fight. Very, very well played.
Yeah, really, really well played. But we are going to have Game 2 coming up very, very soon. We'll see whether Avant-Garde Ascension can bring it through and get through to the grand final against Community, or whether it's going to be Curse bringing the game back. But we'll see you very, very soon.
I'm here with Castell, who's the manager for Team Curse. Can you tell us how your team's going to come back from this situation in the next game?
Yeah, so I think one of the problems we had in the last game was our team fight. It just was a bit, wasn't so clustered together as much. We separated a bit too much. And also just general warding. Need to make sure we've got the ward coverage up.
And moving on to your role as manager for Curse, how did you actually get that position?
So I've always been a player and interested in esports. Since I'm getting a bit old now, it seems like one of the better things to do was just to take a manager's position, since I obviously can't play competitive anymore. So yeah, it's definitely one of the best choices I've made.
Okay, and we're actually roommates at this event, so I see you go to bed early, get up early. What kind of things do you do for the team? You're obviously going like really early to meet them or something.
Yeah, I've just got a really early to bed sleeping pattern, I guess, just from talking with the NA and just making sure like get on board with everything in the morning, like sponsorships, what we're doing, organisation, agendas, and that sort of thing. So yeah.
What kind of things do you communicate with NA about?
So usually NA we just speak about general stuff, sponsorships, what they want to see when we're scrimming, who we're versing next tournaments and stuff like that, yeah.
And what's your track record like in scrims with Avant?
So we recently haven't been versing Avant just because we know that we're against them in these up and coming matches. But generally, yeah, so we haven't really been versing them.
All right, and so what do you guys do to prepare for a game like today, like last night?
So last night we went out and had an early dinner. Then we just went back to the hotel room, did a bit of drafting, strategized there, and that was really it, yeah.
All right, well, good luck in the next game, and we'll be back in just a second.
When I was first picked up by my first team, the feeling was just, wow, I've finally been noticed. You know, people actually think I'm okay at the game, you know, I can maybe make something of this. It's a fantastic feeling.
There's a lot of banter that goes back and forth between the team, but mostly between Boat and the rest of the team.
A big thing about Airy is he likes playing unconventional supports.
Things like Misfortune and LeBlanc and
playing support Ari, and it's very frustrating for me because I actually just play with him on my Smurf now instead of my main account because he refuses to play anything meta.
One time I played Aurelia support and it was against a Morgana. That did not go down well.
Getting decent practice and decent synergy is something that comes in scrims and not really duo queuing. I think every champion select we've had, even in a tournament, he's always shrouded away from playing anything conventional. He'll always ask for the support Syndra or the support LeBlanc.
I told him that I'll play Galio because our manager plays Galio.
Support Ari. He'll do anything but play a meta champion, but we have to tell him, Ari, I'm sorry, you have to play what's good. Like, you can't keep doing this to me. I keep losing lane because you're playing support Syndra.
And then everyone would be like, no. And it's like, okay, I'll pick Morgana.
He probably has something up his sleeve, maybe support TF or something. I think he's been playing a lot of support MF. So support Misfortune on his Smurf. So he probably would pull that out if we said to him, in the Winter Regional, you can play whatever you want against AVA. But we're not going to tell him that.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Perth Supernova here for Game 2 between Avantgarde Ascension and Team Curse. And it's hilarious hearing from Airy, because that guy plays some dumb supports. I want this MF to come out.
Yeah, Airy has such a diverse champion pool. We saw the LeBlanc, probably a target ban towards him in the first game, because he's able to bring these high damage threats into the bottom lane, and the amount of banter between him and Boat is so funny.
It's so good. And the fact that he actually plays these champions relatively well. I don't think that Boat was necessarily giving him enough credit, because to take something like LeBlanc or Orianna into the bottom lane and then win the lane, that's impressive.
Yeah, definitely is, and that's what they're going to need in this second game. The bot lane went a little bit sour early on with Airy getting first blooded by a nice gank from Carbon at level 2, and then Boat kind of got behind on his Jinx, wasn't able to impact the team fights, and Kadra just started doing so much damage on that Twitch. Look for them to mix it up a little bit, maybe get Ari on a more damage-orientated support so that they can start dictating the flow of the lane a little bit better.
Yeah, things could be a little bit difficult. Do you think that maybe Curse want to opt for a little bit of a lane swap comp? Do you think that maybe Chelby should bust out the Nunu this game? Maybe they want to keep Trashboat on this Jinx, but maybe go for a bit of a blood-boiled Jinx situation?
I think they played the early game quite okay, with the exception of that. We do have our next key matchup, which is Colo and Minky Whale in the top lane. We saw that what they actually need is to get Colo going. So I expect much more visits into the top lane. Shelby visited the bottom lane and didn't get much reward, whereas Colo was ahead and then didn't get much attention. In fact, he got ganked and his turret got taken down. Minky Whale played the late game extremely well on Shyvana. He's just got so much control over the champion. Went a little bit too deep a couple of times, but was able to clear out a lot of space for his team. So I think the key for Curse in this game, if they are to win, is they need to get their top lane going.
Yeah, and there's the fact that Minky Whale just looks so comfortable on a lot of these champions as well. So it's just really, really up to Curse to really make sure that Colo can get there. And I don't think he's going to get his Jaxi. And do you think that the Jaxi is going to get through? I mean, they managed to deal with it, but if that game had have gone better objective-wise for Curse, it could have been a real problem.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, okay, so you dealt with the Jax, but how successfully did you do it? He was so scary in that mid game, and he was taking the Orianna ball everywhere, particularly if they're going to give the mid laner Misui Orianna again. I don't think you give them Jax, just because of the synergy between the two champions and the comfort level that Colo brings. And he's going to be playing a carry top lane, because they need some damage from somewhere. With all the support picks that come out in the mid lane at the moment, as we dive into Champion Select, I just think it's very, very smart to take the Jax away from Colo.
Yeah, I think taking the Jax away, just in general, he is purple, and the band seem to be coming through fairly purple recently. Lucian's going to be taken off the board as well, so an 100% win rate champion is not going to be available. Lulu going to be taken away as well, and Misui is known for playing Lulu if he's going to play the mid lane, so really intelligent band, but it kind of hurts Avant-Garde here as well, because Choo Choos and Minky are both really good Lulu players.
Yeah, and it wrecks that synergy a little bit with the Yasuo. We see the Yasuo actually being taken off the board. I like that ban. Even though we got behind in the early game, he just does so much damage late game, and especially when you play like Choo Choos, he might get killed, but he still keeps his farm extremely high and becomes that split pushing threat mid game, and then the massive team fight present late game. Kassadin, of course, being taken off the board. That's the obligatory ban. Like, you have to get rid of him.
Yeah, no, we're not going to see Kassadin. May as well not mention that one. Curse now taking a little bit more time on this ban. They're thinking it through, making sure that they make the right decision, because they have to decide what they want to first pick here. What do you think that is going through the mind? The LeBlanc is actually going to be banned out on their side.
Okay.
So interesting.
So taking LeBlanc away, obviously don't want to have to deal with that with the support mid lanes that come through. LeBlanc actually doesn't cause them that much trouble. But obviously in the team fight stage, just so strong. And AVA obviously put a lot of pride in this Twitch, because they first picked it themselves, and now when Curse have first pick, they just get it off the board. Obviously they think that he's a very, very key pick, and they don't want to play against that, but Kayle has got through.
Yeah, the Kayle going to be looked at here as well, but I think that means that Avant-Garde is going to put Cardred on the potential Jinx, and mean that Boat has to look way down his champion list for an AD carry to play.
Yeah, so Boat, of course, Lucian, Twitch, and then the Jinx pickups, they're like the 3 key pickups that he does play. So with the first lock-in coming through there, if they do play Jinx, which they haven't, so Curse still have the ability to pick it up. Elise and Morgana pickups. Gymnast, of course, played Morgana last game. Caused so much frustration for Colo on that Jax.
Oh, yeah.
Just kept hitting with Dark Binding after Dark Binding, getting a couple of clutch Black Shields off. And then Elise is just such a strong jungler.
Not to mention Carbon's most comfortable jungler as well.
Particularly in the early game, so look for him to get very, very aggressive. The Nidalee has got through, so that will be a top lane Kayle.
Oh my goodness, we've actually seen this overseas as well. Jax is through as well, though.
Jax is through as well.
Misui can decide which champion he wants to play at this stage.
So
does he want Kayle or whatever?
Yeah, does he want Kayle or do they want the Nidalee? And Shelby has got the Eve. So this is a very, very heavy mid-game teamfight comp, but at about the 12-minute mark when Dragons start coming up, Jax and Eve are very, very weak at that point in the game. So you have to be very, very careful what fights you pick. If they are going to go with these 2 picks, which I don't think they are, because it's a little bit too much investment into the late game. Eve, of course, fantastic early game jungler, but goes through a bit of a dip between the levels 9 and 12, and then doesn't come back up until she gets some tank items coming through.
Yeah, so it might be a little bit unfortunate, especially considering last game where Avant-Garde Ascension really powered their lead through at about that 11-minute mark. Choo Choos looking to lock in this Zed though, and we know Choo Choos as the mid lane assassin player, so he could potentially pick that one up. Nidalee's available as well, so they've looked at a lot of different options, and we'll see what Choo Choos decides to do. We've described Choo Choos as the either assassin or poke. This time he's definitely gone for poke.
Yeah, definitely. With the Nidalee, this is, of course, pre-rework, so those spears just do so much damage and can be fired so often. With a Caitlyn, this is what we said. If you pick Nidalee, you have to pick Caitlyn or Lucian, because she's the only AD they're the only ADs that lend themselves to wave clear, and we saw how comfortable Cardred is on Caitlyn. Dictates the lane quite well, but in team fights, his positioning is impeccable.
It's ridiculously strong, and when you're on a Caitlyn with such high range as well, it's just so hard to get to her, and the peel potential coming through from Avant-Garde, even with the 4 champions that they've just got, is really scary. Just Morgana on her own is probably enough, let's be honest.
Yeah, and the heal coming through from Nidalee, of course, going to be speeding up that attack speed, so a very good siege comp as well with the spears that will be coming through. Aery looking at Leona, more of a standard support pick, but a lot of lockdown can be provided through that. And the ball delivery system, if they do go with Orianna, they have a fantastic mid-game team comp if they can get some nice flanks and get the ball in the right position.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, really important. These solar flares are going to be fantastic as well. If you get them down, And you've got a Super Mega Death Rocket with the Sunlight procs as well. I mean, that's so much burst damage, especially if they manage to get some procs of Colo's auto attacks throughout the whole team. And we know that Kayle just does so much damage consistently as well.
Yeah, so the amount of AoE damage coming out of this team is phenomenal. And the brilliant thing about this is Boat is the only AD carry. Like, only AD character. So they have to itemize purely against the magic damage at the start of this game. And Boat's Super Mega Death Rocket will be doing so much work in these clustered team fights if they go in Curse's favor. And from that, they pick up a nice, they haven't picked him up yet, but they're looking at Trundle, who's a nice split put champion. So able to disrupt that, now locked him in. So they're looking for someone that can just stay in the top lane, make sure that there's not going to be a 5v5 at any point in the match.
Yep.
And just move that around and also pick up a very, very good tank.
Not to mention the fact that Minky loves playing Trundle, and Trundle fits into this team comp so well. With the fact that he can disengage with that pillar, has of course the ground as well that he can put down, and speed himself up, make sure that he can just get in amongst everything. And if Aerie does land a Zenith Blade, does have that Eclipse on, Subjugate's just going to mean that he's going to melt.
Yeah.
And there's not going to be much of a frontline tank situation at all. Chelby's going to have to wait until late game before he gets tanky. As you said, he does have a bit of that power trough, so I like the pickup here from Minky.
Yeah, I think that Minky is extremely comfortable as Trundle. We talk about it all the time. He's just a tank player, and then Trundle is at the top of his tier list in regards to that. The damage threats that come out of Curse are quite high, and they have very, very strong engage. So if they are in a siege situation and can get a flank, they will look to keep fighting that. However, you have to say that when it comes to poke comps, Curse have got like the typical, Avant Garde have got like the typical awesome poke comp out there.
Yeah, they certainly do. And of course, it's a little bit more engagey on the side of Curse. We'll see whether they can actually get the engages that they want. We heard Jinx mention just before in that interview that they didn't quite get the engage that they needed at the end of the last game. And we'll see whether they can get them this time. And having Colo on this Kayle, and we saw it's very reminiscent of their ex-mid laner Keen, his Kayle was out of control. So Curse know how to play with a Kayle, and that's something to mention.
Yeah, and they definitely have that trust factor going on. They use the ultimate very, very well. Look for Carbon to have to come top at the start of this game. I forgot to mention it, but Trundle does very, very poorly against ranged characters. Like, for the first, 9 levels, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. So Carbon's going to have to get at least up to the top lane, set up some ganks, maybe some counter ganks, and look to get Minky through the harsh early game against a ranged character.
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult. We'll look to see whether Chelby is his aggressive self on this Evelynn. It's been a while since we saw him on that champion, but we are under the rift. We'll see very soon. Welcome to the Rift, everyone. We, of course, have Game 2 between Team Curse and Avant Garde Ascension. Avant Garde Ascension, of course, up 1 game, now on our red side. Curse taking up the blue pants, and we'll see what they can do, whether they're going to be able to hold it back, whether Curse can really come into this one.
Yeah, so Avant Garde, of course, up 1-0. Top lane is going to bump into each other right now. Not much happening, but this is do or die. This is do or die for Curse right now. They came into the tournament with such high hopes. Lost their mid laner, unfortunately, but they look like they've got a fantastic team comp. And if anyone wants to team fight in this tournament, it is Curse.
Yeah, I'm also really surprised that Missouri got his Orianna back as well, because he was so impressive on that champion. Shows that he's really comfortable. Apart from the fact that those spears are dodged out of narrowly there by Missouri.
Yeah, just toying with him, letting him think he had him a little bit closer than he did. So standard lanes coming out, actually lane swap coming out on the side of Curse. So both sides getting their duo lane to the top, and it looks like Minky is unfortunately going to be in the 1v1 versus Kayle.
That was such a good read here by Curse. They sort of knew that, considering the fact that Colo and Minky met there in the top lane, that, okay, they're going to switch them back. We will switch them back through as well. So sending Boat and Aerie instantly up into that lane, and they've got a really nice combination as well. I mean, not necessarily against the range here of Caitlyn and her safety, but I really like Leona and that Jinx as well.
Yeah, so for a long time, Morgana was considered the counter to Leona. However, we saw that if you can swap targets after that Zenith Blade and get the stun off, there is so much potential damage that can go down. As Colo's actually following Chelby around the jungle a little bit, maybe expecting that the lanes were going to be swapped back, so just wanting to pick up some extra experience, but now looks like he's heading into the bottom lane. Will be a couple of CS behind and maybe a little bit of a level discrepancy, but as I said, on that range character, going to have such an easy time against a melee Trundle at this point in the game.
Yeah, he's probably pretty confident in this lane regardless of how it starts off, so knows that it's not really going to be swinging too much, and he hasn't missed out on too many of these kills.
Yeah, so able to get into his lane, only 5 to 6 CS, and you see straight away how much damage just goes down onto Colo. Able to just, with that E, put out so much early game damage, and you have to say that these are the lanes that Curse wanted.
Yeah, that's precisely right. And they really tried really hard to get it and played it really well to try and get it into their hands as well, considering the fact that they had to discover that AV, just play the mind game of, yep, they saw each other in the top lane, let's switch it.
Yeah, and it looks now this time that Missouri has started the lane much better. He's not at a CS discrepancy. We saw it from the get-go that he looked uncomfortable against Choo Choo's on that Yasuo, so maybe just a good ban in the way of getting Missouri more comfortable. It doesn't really throw Choo Choo's much. We know we can play Nidalee, but just the threat isn't that high. As we see potentially some action in the mid lane, Carbon clearing out a ward and Chelby taking his spot, following him around a little bit, just making sure he stays away. And Missouri's doing a fantastic job at trying to zone Choo Choo's off these creeps. Chelby's heading top for a gank, however.
Yeah, Chelby's trying to get in this top lane. No pink wards are available, and we can see that Avant-Garde are just so pushed up. We'll see whether the Zenith Blade is going to land. Oh, max range. The W does come out, but Chelby sort of thought that that Zenith Blade was going to hit. Unfortunately, it didn't.
Yeah, just a slightly missed time there. However, it does relieve some pressure on the top side of the map. It also reminds you that Eve is around and you have to play extremely careful for the first 3 levels. However, it does look like Carbon is visiting this bottom lane. This is what we were talking about. He needs to get Minky some protection, because otherwise, from level 5 onwards, it's going to be very difficult for Colo.
Yeah, the heal does come through. Nice flash out of the way of that Cocoon as well. Volatile Spiderling is going to launch itself halfway across the screen. Always looks awesome.
So just really wanted that minion. Of course, the jungle tax coming through for Carbon there. Didn't get his gank, got a flash. Very well played. And that means he can just revisit that lane. As soon as that summoner spell is down, you just have so much more confidence as a jungler to be able to go back down there. Although it does cost him his race as Chelby takes that away. But it looks like he's looking for another game in the mid lane.
Yeah, they do know that Chelby is around towards this top side area, but Carbon has been unspotted. You can see that he's so healthy as well. Dissonance is going to try and get Missouri out of this one. Oh, there's a teleport coming here as well. Colo really wants to try and get this one out, and they thought that Missouri was definitely going to get clawed.
Yeah,
so
they
thought a fair bit of damage down here too.
They thought they were going to go much harder than what they did. Colo did burn that TP, and it's a longer cooldown because he didn't use it on that tower, and able to clear that wave out fine. And in the meantime, Mickey Whale has built up a CS advantage by 10 in the bottom and pushed a massive wave into that turret. So maybe a little bit of a misplay by Colo there. Miscommunication from the team. They weren't going to go into Missouri because they weren't sure where Evelyn was.
Yeah.
And just a wasted cooldown from that.
Yeah, unfortunately though, fortunately for Curse, Missouri didn't die, and losing a summoner spell is better than losing a friend, you could say. Oh, the repel does come down here though. Missouri's under fire. Oh, nice max range spear. It's going to land. Cocoon has been saved, but it is going to land. Missouri now without any mana. The zap comes through. Missouri is forced to use that flash. And Carbon and Choo Choo's going to back off from the top lane here, of course. As the teleport comes in from Minky, another little bit of an overexcited, but that's going to be first blood. Wow, Gymnast coming through in the back end with a really nice Dark Binding. That's going to be the spear to secure that one. Choo Choo's off to a great start.
And this is where you can see a little bit of the inexperience of not playing competitively very often. Chose a strange place to back in the middle of the blue buff area and just got picked up by a nice bind coming out of Gymnast there, able to get speared, and Shelby's going to have a hard time defending this turret. And first blood over to Choo Choo's is not what you want on a Nidalee. The sooner he gets going and gets into his 3-item power spike, the more danger it's going to be on the side of Curse.
Colo trying to get a little bit of damage down onto Minky here in the bottom lane. Minky with that Vampiric Scepter is going to mean that he's going to be so sustainable here in this bottom lane.
Yeah, with that passive, with the Vamp Scepter, just going to be able to shrug off a lot of damage. And with Colo being a little bit further behind at the start of this lane, I'm sure he would want to have a CS advantage and have his summoner spells up so he could fight a little bit more often. Just means that Minky has ridden through the tough part of the lane and must be feeling that he's getting into the part of the game where he can just sustain through the damage and not have to worry about this annoying Kayle that much.
Do you think he's going to go Blade of the Ruined King first item, or do you think he's going to possibly look for some tanky stats, maybe that Spirit of Visage, to try and keep himself in this lane and healthy?
I think you have to go for a tanky item first up. I think that if he did go for Blade of the Ruined King, it would give his team a lot of objective control. However, you just don't want to be put in a position where there's 3 AP threats on the team.
Yeah.
And you don't have a tank at that point in the game.
See whether they do manage to get those items down. As you can see, Curse rotating towards this middle lane. It's going to be Boat trying to get some damage down, of course. Being on this Jinx lends itself really, really well to trying to siege down these turrets with those rockets and the Gatling gun. If you do have freedom to use it, it's going to be really, really helpful.
Yeah, particularly against a Nidalee who has absolutely no ranged wave clear. You saw that that's half the health of the turret in one short siege, and now they can just send Boat top lane again. What that means is at no point Avant-Garde can freeze a lane. Because as soon as they do, they're going to rotate into whatever lane Nidalee has and just siege because there's no wave clear available if Cardred isn't with his team.
Oh, nice Peacemaker there over the wall to try and get Boat as he comes through. Nice read there by Cardred. As you can see, Airy taking a spear to the face. Of course, that Fiendish Codex is on top of the Chalice there in the mid lane for Choo Choo, so going to be doing a little bit more damage with these spears.
Yeah, and the cooldown reduction is very, very important, particularly with that blue buff. Going to be able to put out damage as much as he wants. We also have a lot of congregation around this mid lane now. Carbon looking to clear out some wards. Airy and Gymnast are both in the lane as well. And you can just see that this is where the attention is going to be focused. Although now they've sent Carbon top for a potential gank on Jinx. We know how good Carbon is on Elise to jug at aggro. And Boat has just got out of there. He read that very, very well and didn't want anything to do with that two-man dive.
Yeah, he had some issues with overextending last game, not this time. And that is going to spell the end of that outer turret there in the top lane for Avant-Garde. You can see Missouri going down fairly low. I think that was probably due to a spear on the side of Choo Choo's, but nice pressure being put down by Avant-Garde, and again, always pressuring these objectives.
Yeah, getting a lot of work done, and once again, building a CS out of nowhere in this bottom lane. Colo has started to get a little bit more of an advantage in this lane now. However, they're just going to be able to swap Minky into the top wave, not really stress about it too much. Oh, as Missouri face tanks a spear, but it looks like he wants to go in on Choo Choo's with Shelby there to help.
Yeah, Choo Choo's has popped that Cougar form. Shelby's being spotted out here. Agnes Embrace does come down. The heal coming through from Choo Choo's. He needs to get the heck out of here. We'll see whether Shelby can stick doing the red buff is available. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket just wide. The flash forward here by Shelby. He wants to reactivate that red buff, but cannot get in melee range. Unfortunate use of flash there.
Yeah, so able to chase Choo Choo's out of the lane though. Traded a summoner spell for a summoner spell.
Oh
Oh my god!
goodness.
Taking so much damage from those spears. And this is why Nidalee is that annoying mid-game pick, because she can just throw so many spears out and they do so much damage.
Yeah, it's just really, really silly. I think Shelby may have even been stealthed at that stage. Choo Choo's just got a lock on him so well. These spears really starting to hurt, of course. Only one kill going down so far. Avant-Garde Ascension in possession of that one, and Boat has pushed out this top lane. Might try and get some pressure down here as well. As you can see, Cardred is moving up. He's going to clear that one out. Oh, Colo has popped that intervention. We've got the repel coming through here from Carbon. He does have the rev up. He's going to be able to slow Colo down. The flash is still available. Colo's just going for the long walk back to his turret. Ooh. Oh, does actually use the flash. I think that wasn't quite necessary, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, definitely don't want to give up another kill to this Elise. She's just starting to make so much pressure around the map and able to push that one in as well. So we keep saying that Kayle should be winning this lane, and then every single time I check CS, Minky is just up somehow. He's really surviving well in this lane, although there is a fight in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Chelby's gone so deep. Minky well just needs one more hate spike, and he's going to go down. There it is. Chelby picks up that kill. Only takes one turret shot as well, so Chelby with a 2v1. Nicely played.
Yeah,
Choo Choo's is coming around here, though, and he seems to know exactly where Chelby is. Almost fainted into the wrong position. Dark Binding does come down into Colo. Doesn't have Divine Intervention back up quite yet. Of course, not too much of a cooldown on that one, and Avant-Garde unable to answer, so Curse pulling one back.
Yeah, able to get the kill pickup, and that will be a massive confidence booster for Chelby, because he's had a couple of games be so close and not be able to finish them off. So just fantastic effort there to get one. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket, that would have done so much damage to Carbon and made this Dragon even more risky. And it looks like Curse are going to contest it. Ari is in there with Colo.
Yeah, Solar Flare's available here too. Choo Choo's is now taking up the turret. We'll see whether Minky Well can get in and do something. Soul Shackles does come down. Colo now with Divine Intervention. He's going to take Carbon down first up. Brilliant three-man Shockwave. Double kill for Colo. This is a whitewash. Aries being chased, but Minky's now the focus. Curse are turning around this team by double kill for Shelby. Oh my goodness, that was fantastic. Oh, Colo tried to save him. Kadra with a follow-up kill there with the ace in the hole. But that's going to mean Dragon for Curse, and what a fantastic team fight.
And you see how Ari baited out a lot of those spells by just walking at the team. Able to get a lot of them on top of him. They group. Fantastic Solar Flare into Shockwave combo. Pick up the Dragon, may be able to rotate into this mid lane, although that would be a little bit risky. But Curse just getting a favorable team fight. They have a 1,000 gold advantage and look extremely comfortable on their picks.
Yeah, and that, oh my, as we're going to see it again, but the Shockwave is amazing.
Yeah, so Kadra takes a lot of damage here, and they've seen through the Super Mega Death Rocket. So Ari just walks at the team, and they all collapse on him. He gets a really nice Solar Flare onto all the members, and then the Shockwave that comes out is beautiful from Mizui, able to clean up a lot of the team, kite Ari around, get a shield onto him, pick up the top lane as well. Unfortunately, Kadra gets a fantastic ace in the hole that Colo just can't block, but 3 for 1 with a Dragon pickup. Curse will take that for the life of their support any day.
Yeah, and with the Dragon as well, just really, really well played. And the fact that both AD carries weren't there, that wasn't like they were taking advantage of a situation where they had more members. That was a straight up 4v4.
Yeah, and that's just what we're talking about, the AoE ults that can come out of Curse. That sunlight damage never needs to be underestimated because it does so much work in the mid game. With a great Solar Flare there, it just was able to proc everything. The other thing that is important to note is that Colo was the one that picked up those kills.
Yes.
So he went from not doing a very good job in these lanes to now being able to arguably 1v1 anyone on the map, although he looks like he's been caught.
Yeah, Soul Shackles does come down. Oh, Intervention comes through as well, blocking a lot of that damage. Solar Flare comes through, only gets the slow here onto Cardred. And Ari is here to offer the support. They do get the intervention for it, but Soul Shackles has been used. Super Mega Death Rocket finally hits a target. Does find Kadra there, not going to secure any kills, as Trashbro is here to try and convince Minky to stay out of this lane. Chompers are coming down. Minky's actually going really aggressive onto Boat here. Does get slowed, forces out the heal as well, and that's going to mean Minky's going to back away, feeling like he's done something good.
Yeah, didn't have to use the flash, but did have to expend the heal, so very well played by Minky, recognizing that he was stronger than the AD carry of the Curse team, but it looks like Shelby has got the flank.
Yeah, there's the Agony's Embrace coming through onto 3 members. Oh my goodness, Aries right into this one. Repel Force for use, but Carbon's so low. Colo's here, gets some auto attacks down. There they are, and that's going to secure that one. Carbon falling yet again. The Q coming down onto Gymnast. Colo's not finished. Dark Binding does land. Gymnast is fantastic at those abilities, by the way. His Dark Bindings have been brilliant.
Yeah, completely on point. It looks like Minky has caught Boat again, but Boat this time doing so much damage.
He's got a different pair of pants on. He's decided he's going to take him down this time. Really well played by Boat. Mizui's now found Choo Choo's. Which Curse is this? They are fantastic right now.
Yeah, so Boat, after having what was not a very good game one, has completely exploded in this game, has played his lane extremely well, able to push out the top lane. Another great bind coming through from Gymnast. He just holds zones very, very well on Morgana.
He certainly does.
But what it does mean is that there's a lot of pressure being exerted into the mid lane now, and it looks like this turret is going to fall. Along with the top turret, Curse has got complete control of this mid game.
And as you can see, they are going to be able to cancel that teleport there as well. So Minky losing the summoner spell as well as the top outer turret. And Curse, this is the Curse that we're used to. Controlling objectives and making sure they're team fighting perfectly, and it's going so well for them so far. 7-2 in kills, now up by 5,000 gold. It's like a different team's playing.
Yeah, and it's so, I think Shelby has a lot to do with this. On Eve, just able to impact plays around the whole map. That ultimate has come up massive twice now, able to catch out stragglers, and he just looks super comfortable on this champion and really showing us that he has strength here. 3-0-1 against 0-2-1 of Carbon, and has been able to get in and mix it up with some really good team fights.
Not to mention the fact that Carbon put so much value on this Elise that was picked as soon as they possibly could with that Morgana. And it isn't really reaping them the reward that they necessarily wanted it to, I don't think.
Yeah, and this is where it gets dangerous because Boat's starting to become this massive threat. That Super Mega Death Rocket, as soon as he hits 11, is going to be doing so much damage. He's picked up the BT now. But look at all the magic damage coming out on the side of Colo. The Hurricane's nearly going to be picked up. Shelby has his ult and all of his abilities, which are AP. Of course, Oriana, Missouri, we've seen that he's been having a fantastic game. There's so much mixed damage on the side of Curse that is going to be extremely difficult for them to itemize against it. And Minky has gone Blade of the Ruined King first item.
Yeah, and that's what we were discussing, is probably not the best decision to go here. So Collie going to have a little bit of an advantage considering the fact that he's not going to worry about the auto attacks of Minky too much because he can kite him out, and Minky's going to be a little bit more squishy as well at the same time. One thing I really want to mention is the fact that Mizui's playstyle has transformed. He is so much more confident this game, and he's playing this Oriana so well. Shelby's now being caught out completely. Might be forced to use that Aghanim Embrace. He has used it. He's turning it around. The block coming through from Airy, using that solar flare to save his life.
Oh, that bit was so close.
Tickling the behind of Shelby as he wanders out of that one and just says, not even close, baby.
Yeah,
That's
so Shelby,
fine.
a little bit of miscommunication. Thought his team was a little bit closer in that he didn't know the members of Avant-Garde were coming through the river. A little bit of lack of vision in that side. However, able to get out and not expend anything apart from his flash and his ultimate, so really well played there. Minky needs to be extremely careful with
Yeah,
this
the
1v1.
Subjugate comes through. He does have the Blade of the Ruined King in there as well, but there's the intervention. Minky well now has those abilities. They're ticking down. We'll see whether Colo can kite this one out. The flash forward into the chomp. Colo's going down very low. Does have that heal available again, and the speed boost. He's trying to kite out, but he doesn't know that Carbon's coming around. Minky with the 1v1. How did we ever doubt him? Blade of the Ruined King, best item decision ever.
Oh my god.
Oh, the Super Mega Death! Oh my
God. That was such a clutch lifesteal there from Minky Whale. I think he actually would have nearly died. However, sending Carbon and Minky top means that Dragon will be available for Curse to take. And if they send only 3 members, Shelby is going to fight them again.
Oh, nice dodge with the Dark Binding there by Shelby. It's one of the first I've seen Gymnast miss. The Zap does come through onto Choo Choo's there as well. They're looking to try and get some pressure onto this blue buff. Don't want that to be on Choo Choo's at all. Shelby smites that one away. Dark Binding not going to find its mark again. Dragon is available, and it's going to be Curse picking that one up as Colo does enter this top lane again. The outer turret is going to be traded, and the teleport only just back up again here from Minky Well.
Yeah, so Minky, of course, no matter, needs to be really careful. Colo's behind their team.
Yeah, Colo's come in. Gymnast is going very, very low. Does have the Black Shield to avoid the slow. We'll see whether any other action is going to come through. Avant-Garde Ascension in a very awkward position, being flanked away from their own base. Choo Choo's now really wants to get the heck out of it. Solar Flare in a really interesting position, but that's because the Repel's there. Carbon's going down. Colo's going to pick up that kill. Mizui's now around the side. They can see the fact that Choo Choo's is there, and we'll see whether they can close in on him. Curse deciding they're going to play it safe, get the heck out, because their positioning was very, very interesting, to say the least.
They still have some good ultimates up. They only had to expend, as the spear comes through, taking a chunk out of Missouri, but they only had to expend the solar flare there. They still have the intervention, they still have the shockwave, and the super mega death rocket that can come through. So look for them to fight again very, very soon. Although all their buffs are up and they have all this unspent gold, Colo has to have his Hurricane by now.
Yeah, he must. Of course, we do have the Distortion enchantment coming through onto Colo as well, so he's going to have that teleport and that flash available a little bit more often, and I think that's really, really smart. He can follow Minky around the map and definitely contribute to his team, and the split push potential of a Kayle is insane. If he's allowed to be on his own in a lane, he's going to eat through those turrets, especially with all this attack speed that he's building up.
Yeah, and I think that the last time he fought Minky had to expend a lot more. He flashed, and I think that Colo kind of resigned himself to the fate because he did see Carbon coming up the river.
Yeah, he
so
did.
he didn't want to burn any summoners, as we see Missouri picking up his blue buffs. But I think that if we saw that again with the Hurricane pickup, it would be a very different fight.
Oh, I think it'd definitely be a different story. That Righteous Fury does so much work after that item does come through, especially if he does catch Minky well in a creep wave. Airy now just holding the fort under this turret as Carbon gets caught by a cute little zap there.
And Boat just defending the pink wards, ensuring that his team has control over this river area. If you look at the vision control compared to last game, Curse has really stepped it up. With this 5,000 gold lead, they've taken complete control over the Baron area, and it's them dictating the flow of the game at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly are. As we can see, Avant-Garde Ascension, this is the opposite look that it was last game at about the 21-minute mark. It's the fact that they are now having to defensively ward around their own base, and look at the pink wards around Baron. It's insane. Curse have so much vision control.
Yeah, and the amount of damage that comes through from Kayle on Baron, when you have a BT PD as well on Boat on this Jinx, they're going to be doing so much damage that I think that AV really need to start trying to push some wards out, because that's a serious risk at this point in the game.
Yeah, it's so true. Airy just standing guard here with his boogie board. Be able to get these wards down, make sure that Missouri is free to farm up this wave. And who do you like in the late game? I mean, Nidalee does fantastic work with these spears, assuming that they're going to be landing. But when this command protect does get huge, it's going to be ridiculous. Chelby's going to run into a fight, and he's going to have triple his health in shields on top of it.
Yeah, I think the Curse's late game is actually exceptional. They've got so much hard engage, and if you get behind with a poke comp, it becomes difficult to clear waves and stop people tower diving you. If Chelby just goes full tank here and is able to pick up a Randuin's, he's going to just dive turrets like you would not believe and be able to absorb so much damage. But as I said, I think the real threat at the moment is actually around neutral creep control, because if they don't get about 4 good spears out of Choo Choos before they fight, the team fight in Curse in the open is so good.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They did decide to start off that Baron a little bit there, but in the end thought it might have been a little bit overly aggressive. Chelby's now going to be able to sweeper this ward here that he didn't manage to get out. I think they might need to use another sweeper on that. Didn't have any available. Missouri might need to use his on that one.
Oh, both been caught.
He's been caught. That's a Cocoon and a Dark Binding. There's the Ace in the hole coming through as well. The heal comes through. They're turning it around. This is ridiculous. That was an amazing ultimate out of Airy. This is ridiculous. Curse, how did you manage to do that? The double kill coming through, and Choo Choos finds himself on his own. That Agony's Embrace after the Solar Flare was stupid.
It was so much damage that the Orianna Shockwave actually missed everyone because they were dead.
Yeah.
So that was a miss by death. And as they can see, we're now getting pushed into the Avant-Garde base. They're going to take down the first inhibitor turret, looking to take down the inhibitor as well. But the death timers are so short, it's only 23 minutes in the game. They need to be extremely careful here.
Yeah, Choo Choos now trying to stand out the side. Doesn't have that blue buff available, and you saw that was the last bit of his mana coming down. Minky's now trying to flank a little bit. It's almost like he wants to slow them down. He's going to dance a little bit throughout a few of these abilities. Oh, it's actually Trackboat's going to go down. Minky picks up that one. Nice work. Fell down very, very low from those spears, and Minky manages to answer one back. But inhibitor for AD carry, we have to see this replay.
Yeah, so as we can see, Boat gets caught and gets so much damage, but then we just see the Solar Flare into the Ace in the, into the Agony's Embrace, and then so much damage coming through from Colo, able to pick up Carbon. A good flash out from Choo Choos, kept him alive over the wall, but able to push into the base. Oh, another whiff. That was not a miss because of death.
No, that wasn't that time. Unless it was the turret, unless he was trying to shockwave the turret back to life. Something like that.
So we can see that Missouri hasn't picked up his boots too, but he has gone for the death. He looks like he's working his way towards a death cap this time around, which will just provide so much more damage, but also the shield that really can't be understated on a carry like Orianna, that she does so much more than damage. The shields that come through, the speed up because of dissonance, and Polo, oh my god, Chelby looks like he's fighting again.
Yeah, he's actually managed to get the Agony's Embrace onto 2 members, but he's going to go down. That's the shutdown coming through from Minky, and now that he's got some tanky stats, this Trundle is starting to get really scary.
Yeah, able to pick up the last 2 kills for his team, swing it around a little bit of miscommunication from the Curse lineup there. They thought that they could fight, but Colo was actually extremely low on mana and health. So maybe not the right time to go in. There were 3 members of Avant-Garde there, so able to swing it back around. They have lost their inhibitor, but it looks like they're starting to claw their way back into the vision of this game.
Yeah, it looks like Curse grew a little bit complacent there maybe, and their positioning was a little bit lax. So Chelby going a little bit overly aggressive. We're used to saying that one definitely, but we'll see whether Curse can nail down on this Dragon. Of course, now it has been Avant-Garde Ascension managing to relocate the wards around Baron and clear out the incredible amount of pings that they did have.
And it was actually the Hourglass coming out of Missouri on this Orianna, so he's just scared of getting caught out of position. Maybe wants that little bit of a second life. I think with Colo actually having the intervention, that would have been enough. The death cap would have been quite possibly a better pickup, especially because Choo Choos now has his death cap on this Nidalee, and with not much MR, with the exception of Chelby, it's going to be doing so much damage as we look to see a fight around Dragon area.
Yeah, Missouri getting caught out there in the Dark Binding, and there's the shockwave coming through onto 2 members here as well. There's the teleport coming down from Colo. They do manage to secure, Avant-Garde actually stealing away the Dragon, but it's not over yet. Colo's in amongst everything. Divine Intervention now means that he can get a lot of extra damage down the blackboard. Kills Gymnast as well. Aries now trying to make his way out. Chelby's managed to catch himself out, but there's a really nice set of chompers. It is going to be Colo going down, and Aries now being caught. My goodness. Avant-Garde just created this train of CC.
Complete miscommunication out of the side of Curse. Boat was attacking wards while Chelby was trying to do Dragon, just took so much more damage. And allowed Carbon to come in, get that steal as we go to the replay. So this is what I'm talking about. They start Dragon up and they're very, very confident, but then Chelby starts taking all this damage and gets the ace in the hole, right in the face, and then Carbon comes in with a fantastic steal here as Gymnast comes through, and they're just completely split damage-wise. The Solar Flare whiff, no one's grouped up for all the AoE ultimates that we've been seeing coming out, as we see that they are going back into the Avant-Garde base. But when no one groups on the side of AV, those AoE ultimates just do nothing in an extended team fight.
That being said, Curse did manage to get a Nexus turret for it, so that is very, very good. Means that the early take of that inhibitor definitely paying dividends here for Curse, and they do, as we are getting indicated that it is going down. Curse now using the fact that that inhibitor's down to start this Baron off, and they didn't notice the... oh, there's a Solar Flare coming through. Black Shield is going to block that one out. Airy now going to cop that ace in the hole to the face. Baron at half health, but they're going to have to back off this one. You can see a lot of their tanky members are getting really low. Yeah, that's a really nice pillar. The Black Shield there as well. Minky does have the Black Shield, but doesn't want to really start anything off. Has popped the Subjugate as well.
Yeah, so Curse just thinking that if they can get their team into the open again, they might have a better chance at a team fight. Shelby looks like he's trying to get a flank off here. Got eyes on Choo Choo's. Karma's really low.
Yeah, Gymnast actually getting taken down here. Minky getting the only man hit by the shockwave, but he's going to fall for it. That's Missouri picking up that kill. Shelby's now in the background, does pick up Carbon, gets the Agony's Embrace off. Nice intervention. That's going to stop him from going down. But this is Shelby. He wants to be back into this fight as well. That's going to be Cardred actually getting the heck out of this fight. Choo Choo's now getting slowed down a lot. Colo might have been enough more than he can shoot. Cardred takes so much damage for that one. Nice Sonya's Hourglass. Going to be used by Missouri. And Airy now with that Eclipse down does land the Zenith Blade. Choo Choo's a no mana. He's not going to be able to do much. The Solar Flare coming through. Choo Choo turns it around. We'll see whether he can manage to get the last couple of hits. But Cardred's there. There's the zap. But he gets it into the face by a Cardred. And Gymnast is back up now as well. So really nice fight there by Curse. They did manage to get almost the ace. That's 4 for 1 coming through. So Curse getting the picks they needed.
Yeah, definitely getting the picks they needed. Teleport coming through from Minky. What is going on this game? Just wants to pick co-op. Misses the pillar, unfortunately. Shelby also being chased out of the top lane. So you have to worry now. Curse has taken so long to get back that this could be potentially a Baron on the side of AV.
Yeah, Shelby has actually cancelled his back here as well, so that's a little bit dangerous. They do have a King Cord now to be put down here on the Baron, and Minky started off straight away. This is very reminiscent of a Baron that went down in the last game. We'll see whether Curse can manage to get around here in time. But as you can see, they can see that Gymnast is making his way through and that he's shooting off some abilities into that Baron pit, so they know what's going on. We'll see whether they can make it work.
Yeah, and it wasn't going down very fast, so wisely Avant-Garde have peeled off it. All the members are up, and there is a massive wave in their bottom lane beating on that turret. Someone needs to go take care of that right now, and they don't have the teleport advantage. Minky did use that, if you remember,
for that
in the last, I guess, pseudo gank trying to chase down Colo. So that means that whoever they send to that bottom lane needs to be highly mobile because, as I said, Curse's damage to Baron is extremely high.
Oh, Colo might have been caught a little bit out of position here. You can see Minky and Carbon are both up in this top lane trying to do some work on him. See if he does fall down. There's the Blade of the Ruined King going off. He does have the Subjugate there as well. There's the Divine Intervention. Carbon's going down very, very low, but Colo's going to fall here. Whoa, there's the Command Protect, but it's not going to be enough in order to save his life. I thought Missouri was going to come in for an incredible play. Minky might be caught here a little bit. There's the Dissonance actually going to slow him down, and the Solar Flare. The Ignite comes through. There's not going to be enough to lock down the tanky target. Shelby's been caught completely out of position. Nice Agony's Embrace does mean that he'll be able to get out of this one, but there's the Soul Shackles. That's going to get the stun. Shelby's still alive. I'm not entirely sure how. Airy's caught up now. He's going to go down really low. Brilliant Cocoon. Carbon's going to lock him up, and that's going to be Airy falling, but I don't know how Shelby didn't follow. That was ridiculous.
So 2 for 9 on the side of AVA, able to pick up a couple of kills there. Shelby's Hex Drinker was what actually saved him there in that last fight. So able to put that item to good use, but it looks like Avant-Garde have finally got a little bit of control back again in this map, and the inhibitors respawned, and they're looking to push out a couple of the waves to take some CS control back.
Yeah, nice dodge there by Boat, just making sure that he doesn't get killed by one spear because these are really, really starting. Oh, as we just saw. Thank goodness for lifesteal, everyone.
Wow, that is so much damage. And you think now that Boat's picked up the trifecta of his items, with that last Whisper being picked up now, that he has to start building some magic resist because that was just so much damage.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. You cannot expect to have an AD carry stay alive for any length of time if he's going to get one shot by a Nidalee Spear.
So as we can see, if we have a look at the updated items, the Rabadon's death cap has now come out of Colo. So that's going to mean he's doing so much more damage. If he can not get caught in these fights, sending him bottom is actually a very good idea because that means they can't send 2 people for him because it will be a free Baron on the side of Curse. So if he just continues to split push this bottom, as Shelby scored again.
Yeah, it does have the Banshee's Veil, so not necessarily going to get caught out by the Dark Binding or the Cocoon, and Colo's just ignored that completely. He's still pushing in this bottom lane. The Black Lord, there's the Cocoon onto both of all people. They just obliterated from the map. Airy now finds himself in a very awkward position, and there's a Solar Flare coming through, gets a triple man stun, but that's going to be a double kill for Choo-Choo's. This could be Avant-Garde taking their own inhibitor. Mizui's forced to back. We'll see whether they manage to actually get the damage down to save this turret, and they do. Colo with the wave clear. He's forced to use his teleport though, and Avant-Garde think that this is their ticket to Baron.
Yeah, and if there are 3 members on the side of Curse that you want up for this Baron fight, it is the 3 that are currently up. Shelby going in for a little bit of a tussle with Choo-Choo's. The AoE ultimates are available with all the damage that Kayle can bring to a fight, so look for them to go in and fight this.
Yeah, the Soul Shackles is there. They've peeled off Baron a little bit. They're a bit indecisive here on the side of AVA. It's going down fast, though. Cartridge turned on Misui. He's doing so much damage. The command attack dissonance. Oh! There's a shockwave onto 3 members after the Agony's Embrace. And there's another spear. It's going to be all of the shields soaking up that damage, but it's going to be Minky Whale. He takes down the Baron, and now it's turning his aggression onto Misui here as well. The shields are probably not going to be enough. After the Zhonya's, it's sort of like he's got himself between a rock and a hard place. He's going to go down. Colo now in a lot of trouble. Airy and Boat have found their way back in, though. Colo in no man's lane gets caught by Choo-Choo's. Airy in a lot of trouble now, though. Forced to flash out here. Might actually save himself. Shelby! Oh dear.
Oh my god, these team fights from Avant-Garde are so good. They're just on the same page the whole time. And it looks like there's some disconnect in the comp on the Curse side because Colo didn't want to fight that last one. He was kiting to the right the whole time, whilst Misui and Shelby were on the left of the screen. And Cartridge just doing so much damage on this Caitlyn was able to chunk Misui out of the fight.
Almost before anything had started.
Yeah, not able to pick up that Baron. So AV have the Baron. They're now pushing down mid lane. 2 members of Curse still dead. They're looking to take an inhibitor.
Yeah, Misui just came up now. We've got 8 seconds on Colo, so we'll see whether Curse can hold on to this one. But that inhibitor turret, that was just not there. And this is the late game Cartridge Caitlyn that is so strong that we saw demonstrated earlier on.
Yeah, his positioning is just so good. He hasn't been caught. He's only got 1 death. So 2, 1, and 4. And he just plays super safe, builds up this CS, gets strong, and now they're just rotating around the map. They've gone from being about 4,000 gold behind about literally 3 minutes ago to now having a 2,000 gold advantage.
Now a 3,000 gold advantage. So really playing this one well. Boat might be overextending a little bit, but does have, of course, his entourage in Airy and Misui. Curse looking to make a play on the stacked wave that they've got in the top side of the map and steal away this red buff. We'll see whether they can get control back here and whether they feel like they're still stronger.
And the scrying orb has come through from Cartridge. I love that pickup. Just means that they don't have to face check anything. And with the strength of this team fight comp out of Curse, it's just a really smart pickup. I think the Curse still are in a position where they can fight. Potentially not with the Baron buff. However, if they get poked down by Choo-Choo's at this point, he has so much AP. Now picked up another needlessly large rod. He's going to be doing so much damage. I think Boat is in one-shot territory.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. Decided to go for a BF sword instead of getting any sort of magic resist. Doesn't want to get his Banshee's Veil just yet. Wants to make sure that he's got all the damage in the world. Make those Super Mega Death Rockets be an emphasis on the death in that particular case. We do have Misui has finished off his Void stuff, but not going to have nearly as much of this ability power considering he doesn't have that death cap yet. And it seems to be quite a ways away as well. Has got that Brilliance Potion, so he's going to have a little bit more cooldown reduction and, of course, the ability power. But Avant-Garde really back in the driver's seat this game.
Yeah, and looking to dictate the flow of the game. They want this mid lane inhibitor. They're going through the jungle, clearing out all the wards on their way there, and they're going to push their advantage in. They've sent Minky to join the team. They don't even want him split pushing anymore. His teleport is up, but they just want to crack the shell of the Curse base and be able to really push their advantage with this Nidalee being so strong at this point in the game.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, Misui taking so much damage. Bit of a heal coming through on the side of Colo now that he has his death cap, and there's another one. Boat now forced to go completely back to base. That's going to mean the inhibitor, and Choo-Choo's is controlling these team fights for Avant-Garde so well after a really horrible start, you have to say, for Avant-Garde.
Yeah, and 5-2-5 now on this Nidalee, just so annoying to have to deal with. We speak about it all the time, but these game-changing spears that come through, if this one hits, oh, so close.
Oh my goodness.
But this is where Curse have to go quickly. they need to give like Shelby his head and just say like, Shelby, just get into their team. If we're going to team fight, we need to go as it starts.
Yeah, Missouri actually getting caught up, uses the Hourglass and the Divine Intervention there as well. Nice Shockwave onto 2 members. There's the Solar Flare as well. There's all of the ultimates coming down. Gymnast is going to fall. Mickey's gone so low now as well. Airy gets caught by a Cocoon, but Carbon's going to fall. Boat gets excited. We'll see whether he can follow up. Shelby finds himself a little bit too far forward. Surprise, surprise. Colo's going to take a lot of damage, and the Spears now to come through in the follow-up, but Curse getting a fight that they wanted.
Yeah, so able to use that AoE ability. It actually started because one of them got caught and they had no choice but to fight. So you see, if they go early, as we see, the fight's still going.
Yeah, brilliant spear from Choo Choo's. Airy now in amongst the fight, but that's going to be Cardred going down. That's the AD carry. Choo Choo's falls as well. Double kill shut down here for Bode. 5, 3, and 9 now on this Jinx, and we know the carry potential of a Jinx.
And that's going to mean he's Infinity Edge. He's going to be absolutely massive after he goes back and shot. Then he's going to be able to pick up his defensive items. Colo also doing so much work in these fights. And Shelby is like, I feel that he is literally the catalyst for his team. When he goes in and they fight well, they win. If he doesn't go in, they lose the fight. This is like the engage is squarely on Shelby at the moment to make sure he pulls off a fantastic ultimate to start it up.
Yeah, and we just saw the layering of that Shockwave, Agony's Embrace, and the Solar Flare combination with the Super Mega Death Rocket. When that works, it's just stupid damage.
Yeah, so much damage, and it allows them to get on top with all the slow and lockdown of what is a really good kite back team. So Nidalee wants to throw a spear, jump backwards. Cardred on Caitlyn wants to be attacking from a distance. If they can get on the top of them and crowd them, particularly if Shelby can pick up his Randall and Omen and slow them down even further, then this is going to start swinging once again back in Curse's favour because they have such a good team fight comp. Look at this game. 40 minutes in, and we could not be more even.
Yeah, it's identical gold. It might be about 50 in favor of Curse, which means absolutely nothing. As we can see, when you get to about the 60,000 gold mark, you've got a lot of items here. Banshee's Veil now being completed here by Colo, so he's going to be able to survive the first spear a lot better than he otherwise would. And as you said, Infinity Edge on Bode. My goodness, that's 4 items of mega death coming out of this Jinx.
If Bode can avoid the spears at the start of the fight, he will clean up so hard. If he even looks at Choo Choo's, he will die. That's just so much damage. As Shelby's being caught by Minky.
Minky just wants to be fighting all the time, is what we've discovered. As I assume Missouri took a spear to the face in the mid lane. As you can see, Zap not going to find its mark there. Solar Flare actually coming down onto Gymnast was a little bit slow with the Black Shield. The Airy just jumping the gun, maybe a tad.
Just looking for that pick. And Avant Garde are concentrating on this bottom turret so much because they want to crack that in because of the objectives that are going to come up. Baron's up in 20 seconds, Dragon in about a minute, so look for them to be the next areas that they fight. But I feel that AV can't fight unless they chunk someone first.
Yeah, well, that's been demonstrated over and over again so far. We'll see whether Choo Choo's can land the pivotal spears. Minky just happy to face tank this turret. Is going to land on the Chompers, though, if he does come through. Bode now gets caught by the pillar there just a little bit, and they do manage to stop the siege.
Oh, and this is where the flank is so important. Shelby needs to get in there. Maybe they're just waiting for the Solar Flare to come up on the side of Airy. That's only about a 20-second cooldown away. And as soon as they get that, I feel that they're going to go rush once again. The waves are pushing against them. Their inhibitor has respawned in the mid lane. And as I said, this game is so close. It's on a knife edge. With the death timers at 40 minutes of the game, whoever decisively wins the next team fight will win the game.
Yeah, that is definite. And if Cardred manages to get some face time with these turrets as well, I mean, he's just going to eat through them with no worries at all. The Baron is up, as we said before, and vision for both sides, but I have a feeling that that green ward is not long for this world. I mean, that pink ward, sorry, is not long for this world, as we do have Bode killing that one. Nice little zoom in there. Fantastic camera work. Nailed it.
So we do see that Nidalee is in the mid lane, just trying to get this wave pushing up, but the whole of AV has drooped on the other side. Aggroing Baron, just doing a little bit of damage.
Yep, Shelby managing to clear out that ward though, and this is the Baron dance. We're back to this again, Spawn. We'll see who manages to come out ahead, because if Curse do get a grouped up team of AV, they're just going to eat through them. Those ultimates are ridiculous.
Yeah, and look at Shelby to just go for an outright flank. He's not going to be with his team, I don't feel. He's going to be off to the side, looking to get into the back line and take that ball straight on top of Choo Choo's and Cardred and just get as much damage done as possible. Cardred is going back. You have to think this is the Infinity Edge pickup that will equalize him with both items. And Caitlyn with Infinity Edge. Oh, he's gone Banshee's Veil instead. So opting for a little bit of that magic resist. Scared of the shockwaves and maybe what Kolo's bringing. So
yeah,
I think that Kardred's good enough at positioning that if he can stay far enough back, that might not be the best pickup, but obviously he's just going what he's comfortable with at the moment. And it looks like they're looking to trade a mid lane push for what is a dragon. 42 minutes in the game.
Yeah, this could almost be up to base race territory as we see Avant-Garde are running down this mid lane. Curse have decided that they really want to try and fight this one if they can. Nice ward there in the brush is going to mean that Shelby does get his Banshee's Veil removed from him. Oh, there are the skill shots coming through. Missouri just baiting that one out, and nice work, deterring everyone by just throwing an Orianna at them.
Yeah, and this is what we're talking about by the flank. If Shelby actually gets on top of the team, they are going to melt so quickly. So you saw as soon as they were coming in from the side, AV wanted absolutely nothing to do with it, but what this does do is regain them Baron control. So Curse is all going back to shop, pick up some elixirs, get ready for this final fight, but it looks like it's in complete darkness. The ultimate comes through and they'll see now that no one's on it, but that's a massive cooldown on the side of Curse.
Yeah, Trashbro, not going to worry about that too much. Does have, like, not that long to wait for that Super Mega Death Rocket to come off cooldown, and that just shows how much they value this Baron as well. They're going to waste that ultimate in order just to get vision and make sure they're not getting sneak Baron.
And Shelby is so desperate for his Randuin's Omen at the moment. He's gone bot to try and pick that up. Mizui's been caught.
Yeah, forced to flash out of the way of this one. Decides not to use that Zhonya's Hourglass in order to avoid that damage. And with the flash down here from Misui almost for free there with the mispositioning, this could mean Baron here for Avant-Garde.
Yeah, they've turned for it straight away, and the absolute vision control they have means that they can hate this one so good. Just wait around that corner. Shelby looking for the flank for his team, of course, able to get in there unseen. Whoa. They've seen him. They're chasing him.
They are chasing him. I find it pretty impressive that they managed to see him because I thought he was stealthed as he walked past. They didn't see the pink ward available. Oh, there it is. It's actually in that little ward just below the red buff on the red side. So thankfully, no backdoor is going to be happening here, and I think that was going to be a cheeky maneuver by Little Shelves.
So everything up on both sides with the exception of Mizui's flash. Shelby can now go back, I think, and buy his Randuin's Omen, which is the next key pickup that they're really waiting for in what could be a final team fight, although it looks like he has a flank, and Carbon isn't with his team.
Yeah, Carbon not with the team, and no vision here on Shelby either. We'll see whether they can manage to get exactly what they want down, because of course, with that Agony's Embrace shield, everything will be on the... They'll be able to see Carbon come through from the back as well. Curse really needs to make it good. There's the Agony's Embrace on the 3 members. Solar Flare coming through, having to be flashed out up there by Choo-Choo, so that's going to leave him on his own. Divine Intervention comes through onto Shelby, but he's not really the focus. Oh, Shockwave on 3 members! Super Mega Death Rocket surely to follow up, but no, it's been used already. Minky is forced to flash out of that one. Kardra, though, turns it around. Shelby got a little bit over-aggressive. Boat has to come back into the team fight. Airy gets caught. There's the Cocoon. He's going to go down. Choo-Choo picks that one up. Dissonance to do a lot of damage. Boat wants to make sure that he doesn't get followed through, but Avant-Garde Ascension, despite some brilliant Curse ultimates, coming out ahead.
Yeah, 2 for 0. Not able to get the perfect layering of the CC in that fight. Able to push in on this inhibitor. I don't think it will be any Nexus turrets because, as I said, as long as Misui and Kolo up, that is so much AoE damage. Looks like they're going to hightail their way towards Baron without Shelby there and no vision control on the side of Curse. This could be a free Baron and then look for them to rotate it into other objectives, but it's such a close game still.
Yeah, it's really, really close. I think this Baron's really going to help Avant-Garde. As you saw, it's about a 400 gold lead was developed by Curse. Not really going to happen. Super Mega Death Rocket is available, and this Baron is still alive. We'll see whether it comes through, whether they manage to get some vision. But Misui gets caught out. That's a spear in his face, and Carbon securing the Baron.
Yeah, so securing the buff for his team. Minky blowing his teleport to get into that bottom wave, pick up all that nice juicy CS. He's going to love that. He's nearly a 6-item trundle, and we saw how hard it was for them to deal with him. Now that he's picked up that Doormail, although the tower does go down, Kolo has picked up his Void Staff, which is a massive purchase, I feel.
That's a 6-item Kale.
Yeah, he's going to be doing so much damage. It's just, from here, the Randuin's being picked up on Shelby. That's a massive pickup. Void Staff. But then you look at how tanky Minky is, and you just think, who is going to be able to kill this Trundle?
Yeah, and that is the real question here. We do have the Last Whisper, of course, on the side of Boat. He does have that Quadra item situation that is a lot of damage, but we saw Minky was just running rampant in these fights.
Yeah, definitely. Cardred has also moved to the point where he's nearly at his Infinity Edge as well. He's going to pick up the red buff from his team. He's starting to do a lot of damage in these team fights, and we saw that he kind of became the focal point, but was able to kite back so well and get away from Chelby that Chelby had to overcommit, and that's what cost him his life in the last team fight.
It was a nice flank there, though, and as you can see, we've got Cardred going back, had a lot of money. That's going to be the Infinity Edge. Now that's a 6-item Caitlyn, and we all know that Caitlyn with 6 items is just stupid.
Yeah, it's so scary to play against, particularly if someone has Cardred's mechanics. His positioning is so well, and he has a lot of uptime to do damage. From this point also, you see that there's double of the Lockets of Iron Solari coming out on the side of AV just to get rid of some of that AoE damage.
Yeah,
as we have Boat going back, he gets his Banshee's Veil.
Yeah, he's managed to secure that one. So both AD carries now. Boat was just a little bit jealous. So we're talking about Cardred. He's like, no, I got 6 items too, don't worry about it.
And it looks like Cursor throwing everything into what could be a last game. Get that ball on Chelby, look for the flank one more time.
Oh, the spear not going to land. And Chelby, we thought may have still been in there, but no, of course he wasn't. Does have that Banshee's Veil available as well, so this could be, if this is a repeat of what happened last time we were in this particular part of the map, then Curse could be feeling good about this. We'll see whether they manage to actually land these ultimates in the right positions and whether they can break the Banshee's Veils.
There's too much creeps in the base of Curse. They've had to send Colo back, so that means that tower is going to fall for free. Don't want to contest one outside of the base. Nice spears coming through, just disrupting the line of Missouri. He still hasn't got his Rabadon's Death Cap. I feel that's just such a big missed pickup there. There's so much potential for him to do damage, particularly because he's only died 3 times, as Shelby gets a little bit caught by Minky.
Yeah, wandering inside that pillar as well. Minky able to get a lot of auto attack damage, but Shelby's pretty tanky himself. He's going to be A-OK.
And they're able to clear out this mid lane. Now look for them to, as Missouri gets chunked.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
There's ace in the hole as well, and that's going to come through. Oh, if that spear had landed, that would have been almost game over here for Curse. See whether they can defend this turret. Nice Cocoon lands onto Airy, but they probably don't want to engage onto him at this stage. With now a Banshee's Veil, we'll see whether that's going to be enough to really help him out here, but you can see the gigantic wave in the top lane. That's going to be pushing down onto that inner turret. Airy now having to use that Eclipse to try and soak up a lot of this CC. But here's Shelby coming in for the final engage. He does get the Agony's Embrace down. Now they're focusing on Minky. They are going to be... Look at that health come back. That was insane. 4-man shockwave, but it's not doing any damage. We can see no Rabadons. It's going to be Shelby falling down first. Minkuel's going low, but Colo's going to pay for that one. Airy gets hit by a spear, and we can see that Avant-Garde just almost full health still. They just took that like men. They didn't mind at all. They're going to take this inhibitor as well. And these Nexus turrets are in a lot of trouble.
This Trundle with that subjugate, with the Mikhails coming through as well with that heal, went from no health to full health straight away.
Yeah, not to mention the primal surge. That was insane. Missouri now forced to use that Zhonya's Hourglass. We do have Airy being caught up here as well. Boat trying to do as much damage as he can, but Airy's going to fall down. Now it's got these Nexus turrets. They're under fire. There's super creeps running into this base. Boat trying to kite as best he can, but that's Nexus turret number 2 going down. Zaplands. We'll see whether Boat can actually manage to do any work. He is doing a lot of damage. Does get caught up there a little bit, slowed down to high heaven by that, and that's going to be him taken out. Finally he goes down. Congratulations, Avant-Garde Ascension, making this a 2-0 victory. But Curse did not go down without a fight.
What a game out of Curse to come in with the substitute mid laner and do so much work in that early mid game. Props to them for showing up massive today, but Avant-Garde looked to be a little bit stronger. The communication was so clear by them. They knew exactly what they needed to do and came away with an awesome victory.
Yeah, that was just absolutely fantastic. Objective control again, but also their morale is incredible. They were losing that early game quite hard. They had 2 back-to-back team fights that weren't going so well, and they still managed to rally behind their team and say, no, we just need to get a bit more poke, bit more poke, bit more poke. And they managed to get it, and it was just so impressive to watch.
And it came through to the end, the fact that that tanky Trundle was just so hard to stop. Sitting on top of the carries, able to get in and amongst it, mix it up. Shelby, another special mention, able to get in there and flank for his team. The initiations were on point, but all in all, Choo Choos and Cardred were just too much for Curse to handle.
Yeah, just so strong. I have to say that, yeah, Colo was impressive, and Missouri, coming in as a sub, I'm going to say it again. We're going to be harping on this so much. Keen just had some really big boots to fill, but Missouri did so well in that role.
Yeah, just able to go through there. He did really well. If we go in, this is the last team fight we're talking about, and this is where Minky takes so much damage, but somehow just doesn't die. So we come in, Agony's Embrace blocks a lot of the Banshee Veils, and then Minky just half health, all of a sudden full health again. And then this Shockwave is absolutely huge, but just not enough damage without that Death Cap being picked up. Choo Choo's in the side doing so much work, and you see Tadra just at the back, completely unharassed, full health, just doing so much damage, able to pick up the turret. They push through, win the game off that, but such a strong team fight coming out of AVA.
Yeah, really impressive. And after that Shockwave could not have been better by Missouri, and it just didn't do anything.
Yeah, just didn't do enough, not with all the magic resist that had been picked up on the side of Avant-Garde. So really well played by them.
Yeah, massive congratulations to Avant-Garde Ascension. They're going to go over to our grand final tomorrow here at Supernova Perth to face off against Team Immunity, arguably the most powerful team here in Oceania. But we now have Lamille standing alongside for an interview.
Not an interview, but I am going to be signing off. We are closing off the day today. We'll be back again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Australian Western Standard Time for the grand final between Team Immunity and Avant-Garde Ascension. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Oh my god, it's a Jackalope!